got that? One scene.
Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely inconvenience. This is Small Zero.
Welcome everyone to Small Zero. Get ready for the ride.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Small Zero Show. I'm your host, Matt Wyatt. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we're going to be covering everything in the world of movies and TV shows and so on and so forth. Today, we're going to be covering the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer and Dune Part 3 trailer, which it is glorious. And will it hit the $1 billion mark, or will Doomsday slow it down? And we will be covering from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the revival show that got canceled. And we will cover the Oscars for the winners. And is it upset? Some of them will be very upsetting, and some of them are very well deserved. So welcome to the Small Zero. So I want to be joining my co-host with Ryan Cam. What up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I hear he has already super kicked St. Peter. Pete, you might want to put some ice on that.
And joining me today, for my another co-host, 3D Jake. What up, Jake?
It's so great to be here. It's fantastic. You know, we got Ryan, Matt, and then we get to talk about Chuck Norris, which it feels like, even though it's for sad circumstances, it's nice to talk about Chuck Norris. I mean, the last time someone talked about Chuck Norris was in 1995, so it's really nice to talk about Chuck Norris, you know?
Yeah, it's so sad that it passed away.
My brother was the saddest, because he was like, Chuck Norris was his guy. He's like, oh my God, he loved Chuck Norris. He loved the Chuck Norris memes. Sorry, we ran through some technical difficulties. So that's why we were late, but we're here and we're ready to say cheers.
Yeah, so first up in this story, we will be covering the box office numbers that hit this week.
Well, actually, Ryan, Matt, so how was your weekend going?
My weekend's going good. I have seen Project Hail Mary, and my initial thoughts on the movie, it lived up to the hype. I completely agree with people who are saying that it's one of the best science fiction movies that they ever made. I've never read the book, but I really love the film. I love the cinematography, the story. Ryan Gosling was definitely amazing. The MVP of the character was definitely Rocky, the alien creature. And this was done on a puppet from a practical that Ryan Gosling interact with throughout the whole movie, and it's absolutely amazing. It's definitely one of the best space movies that we haven't had in a long time, since like The Martian and Interstellar. Great writing from Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and written by Drew Goddard. I thought they did a brilliant job of telling the story. It's a movie that you have to watch on the biggest screen possible. So that's my highly recommendation.
Yeah. I need to check out The Martian. I have not been watching The Martian. I just been watching The Boys. That's like all I've been watching. I was telling Ryan about one scene in The Boys that involves there's a guy so I've been rewatching The Boys and I'm on season 4, and there's a scene where there's a guy who's like Batman called Tech Knight. And he brings Huey, played by Jack Quaid, into his Bat Cave, which is a sex dungeon. And he's dressed like Spider-Man, basically, and he's
hold on, I'm going to stop you right there. You're spoiling it because Ryan has not seen the show. We forget that. Don't give away the plot point of the show.
It's crazy. I'm just saying, crazy shit goes down in that cave, and I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, it's like, it is a crazy show, but it's so good. It makes you want to I got to find out what happens next, because it's just getting crazier and crazier. And that's what I'm doing, rewatching The Boys, because a couple weeks, season 4, the final season starts, and I have not watched Jim V all the way. I think I watched 2 episodes. And I know people tell me season 1's so good, so you need to watch it. But I'm just, I don't know.
I love it. Keep watching the show. It gets even better. I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Well, let's save that for when we get to Boys Talk here on the channel, or Talking Boys, or name.
I don't think we call it Talking Boys. Okay, I mean, I think or Boys.
That sounds like a porno name here.
Obviously,
that sounds like a Dateline NBC segment.
Oh my God, you had to go there. One thing I want to ask Ryan, like, how was your weekend? What have you been up to lately?
It's going good. I just rewatched the remake for a movie called Diabolique, which is very wild. It's got Chaz Palminteri playing the head of a school. He beats his wife, and Sharon Stone and the wife end up killing him and like drowning him in a bathtub, but he may not actually be dead. It's not really that great, but Chaz Palminteri is an absolute psycho in that movie, and it almost makes it worth a recommendation, but it's not. That's
wow.
The things that I watched for the 1996 project. What can I say?
We're sorry we're late and everything, and I know what we're saying. I know you're thinking
you're late, man. Always late.
I deserve that.
We even did that before we got on.
We just had to, like, honestly, we just need to have the Spider-Man 3 clip in where it's like, this is very similar. And we need to have the who cares?
For sure.
You know, those are clips we will have next week. They will be in this next week.
Yes.
All you gotta do is just go, who? But yeah, I will say, yeah, but yeah, I'm ready. Let's ready to talk about the weekend box office.
All right, let's talk about that. Look at that. So the weekend of the box office numbers for this week, it from the top 5. Hoppers is still at the number 1 and made 28.6 million on for the. I don't know how long that's been out for the Pixar movie.
This is week 2.
Okay, we're in the second week. And Reminders of Him. I don't know if I'm familiar with this movie. Are you familiar with this movie?
That's a Colleen Hoover. That's a Colleen.
Yes. And this total does not surprise me in the slightest. Colleen Hoover is still pretty popular in the book talk crowd. So this does
The Housemaid. I mean, everybody was talking about Sydney Sweeney. The Housemaid made a shitload of money.
All that I will say is that Reminders of Him is going to have legs. And I'll just, that's my prediction. And then as far as Undertone goes, I just want to give a shout out to Undertone. That movie's disturbing. And the movie this weekend made almost $10 million. The budget was not even $1 million. I think it was lower than that. Someone fact check me on that if I'm wrong, but I read somewhere it was like, it wasn't even $1 million. It was less than that. So it's already made its budget back. And it's a truly unsettling movie.
Is it really good? Would you recommend Undertone?
Yes, it's if you like Blair Witch Project, if you like the first Paranormal Activity, not the sequels, but the first one, you're gonna love this.
Yeah, right now the Scream 7 is sitting at number 4. It's still in the top 5. It made like 8.5 million. Even how you
feel about it. People are watching it.
That's true. No matter whether you want to boycott it or not, even though I thought the movie was terrible, but it's still making money, and they're going to move forward with Scream 8 no matter what. And another Sony, I think the Sony animated film was like the GOAT is sitting at number 5, and I believe it's supposed to be hitting on VOD very soon. And The Bride dropped from 2 dropped
the Bride
to
is
2 million.
Butt hard, literally at the box office, because that should be number 2. Okay, let's just be honest. That should be number 2. Instead, that is a number 5. Okay, you know, and this is like people are saying it's okay. Like I've heard people say it is okay, which that does not sound like, oh, that's a good movie. That sounds like that's something you watch and go, that exists. Like people, that's a friend of mine compared it to Joker Folia Do.
Yeah, I even thought the same thing before even that movie came out, and I still haven't even seen The Bride.
I legit can't wait for when this movie hits streaming and everyone on film Twitter is going to be like, I will never forgive you people for sleeping on this when it was in theaters. You know what's going to happen. It's gonna
Film Twitter always changes their mind. They never ever have a solid argument. They always say, oh, hey, perhaps we will forgive. Perhaps we treated this person too harshly. And I'm just like,
oh god,
like right now it's Film Twitter. Like,
speaking of that, I wish I would have had that Thanos clip. Fuck no, I gotta keep that in mind every time.
And to think I judged you too harshly.
I might add that in a post for clips.
Yeah, which I said, here's the thing about that though. The weekend box office, you got all right. So Scream 7 has made more money. Scream 7 will, by the end of its run, have way more money than the Bride of Frankenstein movie. That's sad that a Scream movie on its 7th movie that most people said it was terrible made more money than a movie that is supposed to have been an Oscar contender next year.
Oh,
that right there is crazy.
I wouldn't go that far for Scream 7.
No.
Like it was never going to get Oscars regardless. I wouldn't go that far. And here's here's the results. But here's the results for the overall box office numbers for Scream 7. It made 177 worldwide so far, and it's made its budget back. So it's definitely going to indeed get to move forward with Scream 8.
Don't you love it when a domestic movie makes more box office than international? Because I hate when I watch a movie and it's like, oh, to me, I always say a movie really is truly successful if it's doing really well in America that's made at, rather than if it's doing well in China. Because like the Fast and Furious movies to me they're not successful movies. China is what keeps them successful. Yeah. And I really hate when people say, oh, they're successful. I'm like, yeah, because overseas. If it was for a domestic, like those movies are flops. Like there hasn't been like since the 7th movie, no one goes and watches those. And like at least you see like Superman, more people watched it domestically than overseas, and guess what? And it helped the box office
because it wasn't really targeted for China for Superman. Even though Superman has the highest grossing numbers than anywhere outside of in the country, even outside of the U.S.
Which you remember back in 2013 though, when a lot of other studios were trying to insert Chinese people into their movies to cater to China. Like remember that, like in Iron Man 3, like they had an alternate version of Iron Man 3 that has this woman in it that is not in the American version of the movie. That she's only in this version for China to sell to China. And they did this with like a couple of movies for like a couple of years to try to appeal to China. But hey, this actress is from China. So guess what? They're trying to make a mass appeal to China so people go watch Iron Man 3. And people are like, nowadays it's weird because you're like, remember I think most people will go watch it regardless of whether they're like, a character from their country and they're not. I mean, like,
I think that my biggest takeaways from these box office numbers is that if I'm Pixar, I'm absolutely easy for me to say. I'm absolutely elated that our movie is number 1 2 weeks in a row. That's a very good sign. Number 2, I'm greenlighting more movies for Ian Tuason to direct because Undertone is doing so well. Number 3, Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial career is basically over at this point. It's either that or she is like restricted to doing like
$10 million movies.
Yeah,
she's probably going to be restricted to do a big budget movie.
The movie, and guess what? The movie costs like the movie originally cost like under 100, and then because of reshoots. And they had to go back and remove sequences in the movie because Ted Ansel hated it. Like there was a whole musical subplot that they even cut out of the movie. I read because they said people just did not like. They were like because Joker Folia Do, people were comparing it to that, so they were like, okay, we need to cut back the musical element.
It's like someone smacked the TV when they were watching Bride of Frankenstein, and then La La Land pops up out of nowhere.
It just gets crazy that like someone's like Bride of Frankenstein, La La Land.
Here's Dr. Pretorius like, the Bride of Franken, City of Stars, are you shining just for me?
Which La La Land, it almost came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or near the 10th anniversary.
I know it's a lot off topic, but do you know a movie I rewatched the other day that still holds up to this day? Whiplash.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that last where he's drumming his ass off. And I'm like, that just gets me like, I'm so happy at the end of that.
This was back in 2014, which it was to me the best year for cinema.
That was a great year for cinema. And that movie was just chef's kiss. And I still love it.
And it still holds up today.
Why can't we get more Whiplashes and less The Brides and less of those? We want less of those movies and more of those.
But it's not about what less of those genre. It's about make good movies, trying to execute them. That's all that matters.
That doesn't help the argument today.
Also, I understand work hard. Of course they try to, but they just didn't execute it very well.
I don't know how hot of a take this is going to be, but here goes. I feel like most movies that get released are baseline good. Then there are like your greats and your amazings and your exceptions, and then vice versa. But I enjoy most things that I see. When the bad stuff's out there, oh yeah, I'll point it out. If it's amazing, I'll point that out too. But I'm not in the camp of everything's good or everything's bad. I'm very much just right in the center of most of it's good. There are some great ones and some bad ones, but it doesn't stray too far off for me. I don't know. That's just mine.
Well, let me ask you this though. Like, do you think like, all right, so Pixar, because I mean, like, what's his name? Pete Docter was on his way out. Like, if this movie would have tanked hard, Pete Docter would have been. He would resign from Pixar because they would have fired him. Like, because that was like, because they said he's had a string of flops, and they say like, and the rule is if you have a string of flops and you're an executive level, unless you have delivered in the past, your ass is gone. And he was literally said if this movie would have tanked, Pete Docter the next week would have been like, I decided I'm going to leave Pixar. It's been a long time coming. And, which, look, here's the thing. I know this is a hot take, but John Lasseter, he was Pixar, okay? John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton, those guys were Pixar. And it feels like since he left, they have not had a John Lasseter figure. They've tried so hard, but they've not got there yet.
Terrible person, but I mean, there is a kernel of truth to what you're saying.
And I just think, honestly, he's not. He, in a way, like I understand. Yeah, he left because Disney kind of told him, like, you need to leave because you're not. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, like, I could see why, but at the same time, it's like
I don't know the story. I didn't pay attention.
Basically, John Lasseter would go to women and like hug them or like try to flirt with them or sexually harass by grabbing them on the ass or tit or whatever. And basically, and then of course, like Rashida Jones filed a complaint against him, like to Disney, because when she was working on Toy Story 4, and because sexual advance towards her, and she rejected.
I can see how much it could become very problematic.
And a lot of people, Disney always kept silent about it because he made them billions. So then it's like at post Me Too, they're like, look, here's the thing that's going to save your image. Just say you're going to step down and like it's the end of an era for me, and that way you don't end up like getting canceled. And that's what he did. And then of course, then he went over to like Skydance Animation. He made like one film at Skydance, and I'm just thinking, if the smartest thing David Ellison could do, if he's David Ellison, okay, get John Lasseter once you get DC or once you get Marvel or whatever, or not once you inherit Warner Brothers. Get John Lasseter to start a division for Hanna-Barbera and get John Lasseter to oversee every project for Hanna-Barbera.
I'd be fine with that.
You mean you could start an animated Scooby-Doo film, a Jetsons animated film, a Flintstones animated movie. You could do Yogi Bear anime. You could make a shitload of those animated movies. John Lasseter oversees all of them. And a lot of people, look, when he left, Andrew Stanton, I think, left with him. I know Brad Bird left with him. Like Brad Bird, I mean, that's one reason. Like Brad Bird apparently was like, he left to go work with him at DreamWorks. I think Andrew Stanton did too, because I mean, a lot of people that are loyal to him actually left with him.
Isn't Brad Bird attached to direct Incredibles 3?
He's not directing Incredibles 3. I thought he wasn't.
I don't, because I have no idea who's directing. I always thought that Brad Bird would be the one directing it.
Last time I read, I said it was someone else that's directing it. Brad Bird's not directing it. Like he's only producing it.
Careful with the microphone. Make sure you don't bobble too much because I can hear it. Sorry
I can't hear you. I just realized that I made the mess. But yeah, as far as I'm aware,
I'd like to talk about Dune. Can we get to Dune now?
All right, yes. But yeah, that's the weekend box office though. But I honestly think this is successful. I mean, look, you would think a dull month. This is actually pretty good. I mean, you got Pixar's doing well. And it's only going to make like Bob Iger's legacy look better when he leaves. It's like, hey, I left on a high note rather than a low note. It's not like he left on Dial of Destiny. So I mean, there's that. And yeah, but I really think this is. I can't wait to see what the next week says. I'm pretty sure Project Hail Mary will be number one.
Project Hail Mary will be number one. However, Ready or Not 2 is also coming out, and
that's going to be number two. That's going to be number two.
Wait, Ready or Not? Yeah, that will be number two. It's definitely going to be Project Hail Mary be number one.
Based on what I just looked up, the budget is around $8 million. They need to just have like a solid weekend, and they've made their budget back. So that's Disney with another win because it's Searchlight, and Searchlight is a Disney thing. So there's that.
If this movie makes all it has to do, because all it needs to make is $20 million to make its budget back, and then it's profitable. If this movie can make like $20 million or even $15 million, if this movie makes like $5 million, then it's But if it makes like anything over 15, then it's success. That right there is.
I mean, it's hard because it's getting rave word of mouth, even like a month in advance, and I feel like with that, more people go to the theater and seeing it. Like, dude, you got to watch this on the biggest screen as possible. More people will come, and I think the numbers will go a little bit higher on multiple weekends.
All right. Well, that is our box office this week.
All right, that is it. And now for another one, we want to cover.
Headline. Let's do the topical headlines.
Thank you, Jake. But anyway, I want to cover this new trailer that just came out a week ago. Yeah, because I want to get to the trailers first for 2 trailers. But one I want to cover, it is Dune Part 3 that dropped online a week ago, and I wanted to be able to cover that. So here it is. I'm going to read the story. The journey back to Arrakis is going to look quite different this time around. As Warner Brothers launched the first trailer for Dune Part 3, the studio brought director Denis Villeneuve and some special guests out to talk in highly anticipated sci-fi sequel with moderator Reese Feldman, officially set 17 years after the second film. Part 3 adapts author Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah and will follow Paul Atreides' reign as Emperor of the known universe, a period scored on by a galaxy-spanning war that results in the death of billions. Dude, I really, really do love this trailer. I thought it was absolutely a banger. I was so blown away by it. I mean, I love how different the style, it felt a little bit different, and it looks like it's going to end very bloody.
I've read Dune Messiah. I know how it ends, and I honestly hope they change the ending, because if it ends the way it does, I'm just going to be disappointed, because the second one's disappointing. The second book is disappointing, Messiah. I'm hoping that they do it because I mean, it seems like they're doing it very accurately, which I'm like, why not call it Dune Messiah then? Like, why call it Dune
it's because when they call it Dune Part 1 and Part 2, they just feel like it would make more sense just to call it Part 3, because this is literally the closing. Hold on, this is literally more of the closing chapter of Paul Atreides for the third installment.
Yeah, he's not in children.
And because we already know that Paul is literally more of the villain of the story, and Duke is coming back. Jason Momoa's character is brought back from the dead. But I have never read the book. I don't want to know anything that happens. I want to go in completely blind about this.
They didn't include Josh Brolin's name in the trailer, but I'm like, I don't think he's his character. His character has a big plot point in the book, so I'm like, he has to be in the book.
He's probably not going to be in the movie. They're probably going to write him out of the movie. Even fucking Christopher Walken is not even in the trailers.
Well, I mean,
and not even credited.
This is like, I think like this
is because this is a 17 years.
20 years. 20 years.
Yeah, this is set for 17 years after the events.
I'm pretty sure in the meantime they're gonna like say he died. Like that's probably how they're gonna explain it away.
Which I'm just excited to see Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I can't wait
because she has a crucial role in this movie.
Right.
She was in Dune Part 2 very briefly, but
as a CGI fetus and with blue eyes.
Yeah.
And here's like you said, Collins, she plays a pretty big role, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. For the story, like Dune 3 is a very different movie, according to Denis Villeneuve. When we last saw these characters, Javier Bardem's Stilgar was leading the Fremen off-planet to fight the great houses in Paul's name, while Zendaya's Chani fled into the desert as her beloved usual Nick became the very thing he promised he wouldn't. From a quote, it's a very different movie from the first one, Denis Villeneuve says, with a different tone, a different rhythm, a different pace. If the first movie was more of a complementation, a movie about a boy exploring a new world, and the second one was a war movie, this one is a thriller. It's more action-packed, intense film, more muscular, I would say. This is a clear in the first trailer, though there are plenty of scenes calling back in the first 2 films. It's clear that Dune Part 3 is going places the series hasn't gone before, showing blood-soaked battlefields and alien-like interiors where political maneuvering is as deadly as a crying knife. Oh God, I mean, this is fucking crazy from that story, from what Denis Villeneuve was describing.
I'm just kind of curious.
Denis Villeneuve as a director is yet to miss. So this is like my most anticipated for the rest of this year.
Do you think it's going to... All right, here's a true question. Do you think it's really going to come out in December 18th, or do you think it's going to move?
No, because they're not going. They're not going to move.
I think they're going to move it.
They're not going to move. And here's the thing. And here's why. They locked those fucking IMAX screenings. They're taking that over. So there's no way in hell that they're going to move the date. They're sticking with that date.
The wise philosopher Ryan Tedder once said, "It's too late to apologize. It's too late." Well, in this case, it's too late to move. It's too late.
It's either going to be Doomsday or it's going to be Dune that moves. I think, honestly, one's going to move because theater owners are pissed off about this because they said they're thinking it's detracting box office from them.
But here's the thing. The studio does not care. They're going to the trend of fucking Avengers Doomsday.
But next week, they're going to CinemaCon. They're going to have to tell those theater owners to suck it, And I think that's going to make them get booed on stage because next week is or not next week, but in 2 weeks is CinemaCon. And they're going to have to go to theater owners. And when people, I guarantee you, they're going to bring that up. Say, hey, what the fuck with Dune Messiah and Dune? Okay, Doomsday. You're basically killing our market right here because you're basically releasing 2 movies on the same day.
If that were the case, then how did Barbenheimer make so much money? They came out on the same day.
That's 2 different fan bases. That's 2 different fan bases.
Yeah, but this one has a lot more hype, and it's going to be targeted for us.
Battery for the girls. Oppenheimer for the boys. That's literally, it's like, it's like trying to put putting Saw and Paw Patrol on the same day. The kids go see Paw Patrol, the adults go see Saw. If you put the audience,
those crazy individuals that saw both and called it Saw Patrol.
But I'm just saying, like, it would be it would be crazy to put these on the same day. Yeah, because I guarantee you, Doom would lose. Dune Messiah Doom Part 3 would lose because Doomsday, everybody, including me, you and me both would go watch that first. We would all go watch Dune.
I, for one, will watch it both of them on the same day. I don't care. I'll watch both of them on the same day.
Feature, especially around Christmas.
Yeah, but it's around the Christmas time, and it still has a highly.
It's a 7-hour fucking movie. You gotta sit down for 7 hours in the theater.
I've done it before, motherfucker.
7 hours.
I've done it, motherfucking, before. I watched fucking Gladiator and Wicked for good.
7 hours. That's 7 hours. You're gonna be in the theater. No one's.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Let me tell you something. I've done this shit before. It ain't my first rodeo, motherfucker. I've seen both movies on the same goddamn day. They ain't new for me, pal.
But that's different. That's different. But you're not seeing 2 3-hour movies on the same day. I did that with Wicked and Gladiator too. I saw both of them on the same night. Those are not 3 hours long.
Yeah, they were. No, they were.
They were.
Check the runtime if you think I'm making that up.
Trailers, yes.
I could swear Gladiator is like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It's quarter to fucking 3 hours, dudes. Both of them were quarter to 3 hours.
There's one.
I'm like, I've watched Wicked and all. It was 4 hours. I was like, it was like 2 hours. I could be wrong, but I'm like, I could have sworn Wicked because I watched.
You need to start fact checking the runtime before you say something.
You both are wrong. You both are wrong. Gladiator 2 is 2 hours. Is 2 hours 20. It's 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Well, it was like, it was like less than 3 hours.
It's close enough. It doesn't matter.
Not close enough. That's like
first of all, if you want to count for fucking 25 to 30 minute trailers and ads, that counts for something too.
Okay, it's 3 hours. All right, fine. 2 hours and 30 minutes.
You forget we're living in the world when we have fucking 25 and 30 minute trailers and ads that's taking up a much more time than the movie itself.
Ryan, what's the runtime for Wicked? The first one.
The first one? Okay.
I mean, like, if you want to sit down for 7 hours in a movie,
if you want to get all semantics here,
7 hours. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit 7 hours.
That's your thing. Not every. Some people
might
do that.
Wicked is 162 minutes, which means it is 2 hours 42.
Okay, so that's close to 3 hours. So Matt was right about Wicked around that time. But I will say this though. Okay. The normies aren't going to sit through two movies at once. Okay. Like, they might go on different days if they want to, but I'm saying you got Christmas and also people are going to choose. And so I think Doom is going to take a big hit because of that. I do think it's going to be a big hit. I don't think it's going to be a $400 million movie. It might be close to a 300, but I don't think it's going to be a $400 million movie like the second one was because the second one came out.
Hypothetical scenario, Doomsday gets bad reviews. And then Dune gets great reviews and it has legs. I'm just saying it's not as cut and dry as you think it is.
I mean, yeah, but like I think Marvel's really either Marvel's going to cave or it's going to be Warner Brothers that caves. I think one's going to cave because I just know that they were like, look, we can make more money if we push this back.
And we often forget that the last Dune movie made 715 million worldwide. It was a very successful movie.
Yeah.
The last Dune? I thought it made 4. The second one?
Yeah, no. The second one. The second one was 715.
Damn,
The first one took a hit
Oh, the
because it was
first made
2021.
Yeah.
But even then, it was still a pretty big success.
Yeah,
because-
because the reason why the first one didn't make as much was because I agree.
Well,
I
yeah,
echo what
totally.
Ryan has said it because it was on a day-to-day release on HBO
Yeah.
Max.
And people
And
kind of
y'all
forget
remember
that when
the
they've been
streaming-
talking about certain movies lately. Like,
Y'all remember the direct-to-streaming day-to-date releases? Pepperidge Farm remembers, and I don't want to go back to them.
and it really irks me. People that this week have been like, "Oh, hey, remember Warner Brothers? Yeah, The Matrix 5 flopped. It was a bad." I'm like, it was released on HBO Max. Every movie at Warner Brothers flopped that year, except for three movies.
Except for like Kong versus Godzilla, Mortal Kombat,
And Dune.
and Doom. Those are
Every
three
other
movies
movie
that became
flopped.
very
Every
successful.
single movie flopped except for that because of the day and date. In fact, AT&T went bankrupt on Warner Bros. And had to sell it to Discovery. People
Yes.
forget that logic, and they're like, "Oh, Suicide Squad was a flop." Yeah, it was a flop because so was every other movie because nobody went to the theater because they sat their ass at home and watched it. I sat at home and watched
Even
Suicide
Wonder Woman 84, that movie flopped too, and they saw it on HBO Max. They said like, "Fuck that shit."
There's even
So-
good movies that flopped, like for instance, that one movie, the Angelina Jolie movie, Those Who Wish Me Dead, or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
That movie was a good movie. I think
I've never seen that film.
it's a really good movie.
It's good. Taylor Sheridan had a hand in it. It's like this was in the middle of the Yellowstone craze, so I recommend hunting it down.
Yeah.
But, speaking of,
I want to look at the shots of the shots of the movie of Dune Part 3 trailer. Dude, look how great this looks on the whole battlefield. This was obviously more of during a time around Dune Part 2 where now they're going other houses and starting this whole holy war and him leading on the battlefield all bloody. Holy shit. They're going to show a lot of stuff in the flashback sequence.
also, let's not forget about Robert Pattinson rocking the blonde crew cut here.
Yeah, I have no
Holy-
idea who this character is. I've never heard of this character in the Dune
He is
universe.
he's the villain of the movie.
Well, yeah, he's not the main villain. It's mostly Paul is more the main villain of the story.
But I'm saying of this, he's like the guy who's plotting against Paul Atreides to overthrow him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just
In the
one of
story.
that makes sense.
It's like
Which Pattinson is going to be in a lot of movies. Like he's in like both big movies with Denis Villeneuve in Dune Part 3, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
It's nice that Skadale there brought along Prince Imhotep to help him fight. Isn't that nice?
Look how
Also-
look how big of the scale is when Paul's walking up the stairs. He is on like freaking billions of people in his own army, and this is supposed to be.
It reminds
go
me of in Two Towers when Saruman was like, "Now we go to war."
Oh yeah. And in this movie, like it's according to Denis Villeneuve, it's really just dealing with the consequences of having too much power in his hands.
Basically, in this movie, all these people, like Robert Pattinson, is part of a group of people from another planet that are plotting against him, and all these people are plotting against Paul Atreides because they're like, this motherfucker is a conqueror. He is Caesar now, and we want to overthrow him because he has too much power because they see him as a messiah.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the scores in these movies, and already from this trailer, I'm gonna love the score here. Like someone
Hans
made
Zimmer.
a relaxed.
It's Hans Zimmer. And it's going to be a different score now because this is going to have a different tonal shift and different movie. It's not going to recycle the same score that they did in the first two. Because if you watch Dune Part 1 and 2, they're literally just the same story that were split into two movies into one book. And this is now the second book, the storyline they're going with.
I'm kind of like curious about the Florence Pugh because she's not really in the trailer. And
she is. No, she is in the trailer. You've
She's in
seen
the
a glimpse
trailer?
of her. Yeah, you don't remember?
But she's there.
I didn't see her in the trailer. I know. I
You
thought,
probably look. It's probably like you looked away for a split second and didn't pay
Matt,
attention to
scroll
the
down a
trailer.
little bit. Scroll down a little bit. I want to do something, and a little bit more, and stop. Sub-Zero wins.
Sub-Zero.
Flawless victory.
well, that right there. If you read the book, you know what happens in that scene.
I think he's wearing. I think he's wearing a
You know
mask.
what
'Cause
I'm talking about.
I think he was wearing the mask. He's all messed up. You see a glimpse of all the fucked up.
That's not only what happened. If you watch the Matrix Revolution, you will know exactly what happens to Paul.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
by the way, the Matrix. I just realized reading Dune. I'm like, this sounds when I was reading Dune for the first time like 2 years ago after I saw Dune Part 2 because I wanted to know what happens next, and I'm like reading Dune Messiah, I'm like, this is a lot like a Matrix Revolution. Like this is a lot.
And also Jason Momoa's back as Duke. He's back from the dead.
Yeah, the clone of.
But don't fucking tell me. See, there you go again. You keep spoiling the fucking book.
Read the fucking book, okay? I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna read the book. I'm just gonna watch the movie and see where this goes. I don't want
to fucking spoiler, okay?
But I only know a little bit and it got a minor spoiler for me that he does become the hero. That's all I know, and that's all I know. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense.
But yeah, oh man, but yeah, I'm looking forward to like seeing this. By the way, he looks like, you know who Robert Pattinson looks like in this movie? He looks like remember Da Vinci Code? He looks like Paul Bettany's character from Da Vinci Code.
It looks like from the end of the trailer, they're riding on the big sandworm between Paul and Shawnee, and it looks like that they're gonna duke it out. It kind of seems like that's where they're gonna go with.
It looks like, but yeah, I'm just saying, Paul, like Robert Pattinson. But yeah, Ryan, doesn't Robert Pattinson look like Paul Bettany's character from Da Vinci Code? Like, I mean, look at that hair.
Ryan, are you there? Ryan, are you there? You froze. You're frozen.
I froze. We lost Ryan for a second. It's fine. We gotta carry it. But look,
remove that.
I think honestly, this movie, I think this will be probably the movie that gets the best reception out of the two. Yeah. I think the box office will go to Avengers, but I think the reviews will go to Dune.
And if the reviews have been really good, and if it lives up to the hype for this film, it's probably going to make at least $800 million, a little bit more than what the last one did, or maybe more. Who knows? You never know. This will definitely be a great way to end off the 2026, the end of the year for Doomsday and Dune 3.
Yeah,
but it all depends on how the reviews are going to go for Avengers Doomsday, because their reviews could be very bad. There's a chance that they could fuck this up.
But I mean, reviews don't stop. I mean, look at Scream 7. Reviews didn't stop Scream 7.
Yeah, but it's not making like $1 billion overseas.
Now let's get to the other side of the coin. Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me get to that.
We got Robert Pattinson.
What did you think of the Dune 3 trailer? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say.
And also, do you agree with me that this movie's one of the movies are going to move? We'll find out.
No, I don't agree. It's never going to move.
I'm gonna hold you to it. Like if by November the movie hasn't moved, then I will give you. I will say, you know what?
The one who's most likely is never going to move is Dune 3. They're already locked in for the IMAX screening, and they're no way.
I do think I said if one had to move, I think it would be Avengers Doomsday because they're not.
If they do move, yeah, I will agree with you. It will be Avengers Doomsday. But it doesn't seem like. But it doesn't seem like the studio wants to move it. They don't want to move that shit.
It's a big old game of chicken, and no one wants to lose.
Which I think you're losing money by staying there because guess what? The IMAX, you can make more money on IMAX, but you don't have no IMAX screens. So why not move to November?
But to be fair, there's always a re-release for IMAX screenings when Dune Part 3 dies down. So they can always add extra buck.
But why? But you can make more on opening weekend. Those IMAX screens on opening weekend would make it.
Yeah, but there's also Screen X. There's also different types of formats that are more expensive than others.
But like, would you watch F1 in a regular theater? Or would you watch it on IMAX? Just saying.
I watched F1 in a regular theater.
You want to watch it in IMAX to feel like Brad Pitt's dust, like that smell that that tires.
Let me play devil's advocate here because there are some people out there that don't want to pay expensive movie tickets to premium theaters. They mostly will pay for a fucking standard screening because you're taking the family out, and paying for a premium theaters are costing like nearly $20 of movie tickets. So you can't pick and choose. Okay, on to Spider-Man Brand New Day that came out. Hold on, let me get to this. Right now, the trailer had dropped, and I will say this trailer was another banger. We had a great week for Dune Part 3, but for Spider-Man Brand New Day, now it gave me pretty much everything I have ever wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie. It's really getting like close to the basics of Peter Parker having struggles, but also he has everybody in the world forget it. He got everybody in the world forget about him, and he's suffering through like an identity crisis, really. And now he's crossing paths with Punisher. Now he's dealing with Scorpion. and then he's dealing with the first transformation of the mutation of becoming a creature of a spider. I love the scale of it. I love the cinematography. It feels a little bit different than what John Watts did in this Homecoming trilogy. Even the scope of it looks incredible. So I want to know what you guys thought about this trailer. Give me your initial thoughts on it.
It was awesome. Loved the trailer to pieces. It was a little strange seeing Bruce Banner as just a regular dude, I guess. I mean, that could happen. I don't know, but I have to keep telling myself, different universe, different universe. That's what we're going with here. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because I love, and I can't think of his name, who's playing Scorpion, but he's awesome in Better Call Saul.
Michael Mando.
Thank you. And I'm glad he's getting more work in this, because he crushed it in that final season of Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
And he deserves his flowers here. But there's a lot of questions that I have, but I'm like, this trailer looks really good. It's different, which is what I wanted. So all we have to do now is just wait for more stuff to come out about it.
Jake, what about you?
Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be civil about this, but I have some positive and negatives about the trailer, okay? But I will give it the positives first. The positives, I thought the web swinging is amazing. I thought especially the scene where he jumps off and you see his eye, you see his inside the face. I thought that was great and everything. Yeah. I thought, like, that scene is so good when he's jumping and web swinging, because I know John Watts said, like, whenever the Daniel Day-Lewis.
The director of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, the Daniel Craig. Daniel
Preston.
I was going to say Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's not Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig or Daniel Day-Lewis.
I am incarcerated.
Let me tell you something, Peter. This is how you direct. No, but when I remember him telling John Watts, or John Watts telling him, we tried to make it practical swinging. It doesn't look good, which I think, honestly, that was the stupidest note, in which I'm so glad Daniel did not listen to him, because this looks amazing. This is all I ever wanted, because web swinging and the other ones, they're okay, but like, they're not like if you look at the Amazing Spider-Man 2's web swinging, it looks so much better than any of the Tom Holland ones. And I'm finally glad to see, like, this looks good. Okay, the web swinging actually looks good. It sucks that all the movie looks blurry and dirty. Like, it looks like, it's all like Snyderish. But like, hey, I mean, I understand that's his take. He wants to make it look more grounded and real. So I guess the grounded and real to him is Zack Snyder. If
he shoots things in slow motion, then yes.
There is a slow motion shot in the movie. See right there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the hand, which the group of ninjas from the Marvel's Daredevil series that they're going to make an appearance in this one. But also, the reason why it looks so blurry, because you got to remember, this doesn't come out until July. The visual effects are not even finished yet, and also you're watching on an HD resolution that's not good in a compressed quality of YouTube. When I watched this in Dolby Cinema when I went to go see Project Hail Mary, it looks so much better on the quality in Dolby Cinema in 4K.
My biggest pet peeve is the movie gives me Amazing Spider-Man 2 vibes, but not in a good way. Like, it feels like the movie is all over the place. You got so many characters that are just introducing in this trailer, and I'm just like, this feels like Amazing Spider-Man 2. And
a lot of people argue about the whole situation with Superman having too many characters. The only difference is you already know who they are, and it really depends on how you use them in the movie.
But here's also another red flag. Kevin Feige was not involved in this movie at all. In fact, he said, I was working on Doomsday, and I told Amy Pascal to oversee this movie. Amy Pascal oversaw all the Amazing Spider-Mans and the original Spider-Mans. So I'm thinking, maybe
she oversees Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and the Raimi movies. So.
But also, Phil Moore and Chris Miller also oversaw the Into the Spider-Verse movies. So.
But also, I don't even know how much Punisher is going to have screen time. He's probably going to have 2 scenes in the movie that will service the main characters.
Yeah. It really is. This is just a teaser. I think what it's really going to come down to is when we see the actual trailer. Because, like, I get the whole point with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hate that movie. Like, I was like, I don't know. I kind of like. Now I'm just full on hate. At this point in my life, I hate that movie.
But dude, look at fucking Tom Holland. That dude's a
I like his
rip.
hairstyle. I hate how he always had like that Boy Scout hairstyle. I like this. Like he looks like the ultimate comic.
And also Bruce Banner. People are speculating that if he's actually gonna fucking Hulk out, which I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
I think he's just gonna have him make a cameo, telling him what the hell's going on with them, that he's going through a lot of like big changes of his mutation as a spider. Because it feels like he's
kind of introduced like the inhibitor thing where he says,
and also the web shooting. He's shooting organic web shooters, which it does follow some of the storyline from the comic book of the spider creature, and even did that in the animated series from the 1990s.
But my biggest issue though is the trailer left me with more questions than answers.
That's kind of what a teaser trailer is supposed to
I mean,
be.
A teaser trailers does that all the time. That's what it really does. It doesn't.
Because I was just wondering, like, well, how does this make sense? Well, then how does this make sense? Maybe, like I don't know. I'm hoping like all my answers will be resolved by the next trailer, or maybe some of them will be resolved and not just makes. But I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to this movie. Obviously, my thing is this: like, there's not really a cohere of who the villain is in this movie either. Like, at least in Amazing Spider-Man 2, we knew Electro was going to be the main villain, even though he's not in the trailer. They kind of reduced him. Versus this movie, I don't know who the villain is. If you told me, asked me who, I'm like Scorpion maybe, or
Tombstone, and also Tombstone's going to be in the movie too.
And Tombstone's not even in the trailer. That's the
and here's the thing: neither is Sandy Sink. She's in the movie and she's not even in the trailer.
In that scene, she's in the shot of her.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that for sure that was actually her in the trailer because we can only speculate.
Photos it is, but
no, we know she's in it, but they didn't show her in the trailer.
Yeah. Which everyone on the internet seems to know who she is, but I'm not going to say because in case it is, she actually is 100%.
Well, no, there's a speculation going on that she could potentially be Jean Grey.
Well, then fuck. I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
It was already brought up on the John Campea show, and that was
spoilers for Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, there's no really spoilers. There's just speculation. There's no confirmation that she is going to be playing the Jean Grey character. We can only assume.
Watch, we're gonna get shit like if December comes out and July comes out, she was Jean Grey. Then people are like, "Fuck you guys for ruining this."
First of all, we didn't ruin it because we didn't see the fucking movie. We only heard the speculation.
And they're like, "Well, we shouldn't have speculated."
Like, you can't shit on us for having a speculation.
But
we either have a time machine or we're doing this in March. So take for that what you will.
And this shot is one of the scene that stood out to me for not the most, but him visiting on May's grave. Like that scene looks like it's going to have some heartbreaking moments because he lost everyone and no one remembers.
It has Spider-Man 2 vibes of him being like, "Oh, I'm a loner. I'm like, I don't have nothing."
About this dirty joke when he's waking up a bunch of cobwebs. It feels like, hey, did he had a wet dream or something? He just got too excited and this fucking web comes up.
Here's the thing that caught me off guard in the trailer. His nipples are like one over here, and he got like one big ass nipple over here. That's what caught me off guard. I'm just like,
I mean,
they did that in the first Raimi Spider-Man. Let's not get puritanical now.
Yeah, this looks like that's Peter's like apartment, and he's got all the tech and all the webs shooting all over the place.
He had a great Friday night. He shot all of his webs everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the one thing I loved about at the end of the trailer. Him ripping the fucking katana sword with his web. That was pretty badass. Don't tell me you did not blow your mind.
Did you see that when he's fighting the hand? Not that shot, but that shot over here. The shot when he's on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Some people think that there's another character there because they said the way they think the ones are going for someone else, not him.
Yeah, which I don't buy that.
I mean, to be fair, they're looking. If you look at them, they're going for this person down here. They're not looking up at him. They're like, okay, there's someone right here.
Okay, it might be someone. It might be Sadie Sink. She might be in that shot.
Some people think it's Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Daredevil shows up, but I just don't think Daredevil's going to be in this one.
Jimmy Kimmel hounded him, and he goes, wait, is the trailer out yet? He goes, yeah, I have not seen it. And what she was just says, you can't tell me, can you? He goes, I can't. And he says, I'm not going to. I'm like, which I don't know. That's not going to be.
I love how they brought back some of the straight out of the comic book shot from the issues from the Amazing Spider-Man comic book. How they brought, I love this shot right here. That was coming straight out of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book run.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I mean, I don't care. I'm excited about it. I'm not too worried about it. It's my most anticipated film of the year. And for me, I think the director of Shang-Chi knew the assignment that he's going to give us what we've asked for a long time. And it feels like Spider-Man feels like now he's actually doing things street level stuff in New York and not partial New York. But I will still look back and appreciate the Homecoming trilogy of the evolution of where he was before and where he is now at this point.
I even like Far From Home, and no one likes Far From Home.
I mean, I liked it, but
I don't like Homecoming. It's one I don't like. Homecoming is one I hate.
For me personally, I think that Far From Home is my least favorite, but I still liked it. But Homecoming I really loved because it was the start of his own.
I like the outfits in Homecoming, but I didn't like the story.
Well, I personally like the story better, but anyway.
But Vulture was like it didn't have stakes because the villain's like, if Tony Stark, like every Spider-Man movie, the villain, there's stakes. This is the only Spider-Man where there's no stakes, where it's like, if Vulture wins, Tony Stark's gonna have to have a tax write-off because he has no. I'm like,
he did threaten Peter to kill people closest to him, and even his family to.
If he stops him, but he's like, really? I mean, the Vulture, like that was. He
like saved. To be fair, he was able to give that a pass. He gave that a pass because he saved his life because he was about to be blown up.
He wasn't going to go kill her because he's like, because at first it'd be different if he
said. He was very clear. No, he was clear. Like, I will kill you and everyone you love.
Kill you and everyone you love. But I mean, like, she wasn't like, if he would have went there and Aunt May was sitting her tied up, it'd be different. But then it was like, okay, I'm threatening you. But then how many movies have you seen where a villain threatens somebody and doesn't do nothing? I mean, which. I just feel like I wanted Michael Keaton to be like the evil, more evil than it was. Instead, it felt like it just what feels like just missed opportunity because like I didn't get nothing out of it. Especially it's like
personally, I don't care because I'm glad that they don't need to make him a twirly mustache obvious villain because I like villains who actually.
I want to see stakes. I just want to see like when at least Mysterio.
This was his first movie. They're not going to add stakes in his own first movie. That's always happened in a lot of the first Spider-Man movies that they.
Spider-Man 1 had stakes.
Well, ish.
Green Goblin was going to kill Mary Jane, kill lots of people. Like he had her literally right there to kill her,
and he managed to save both.
Rail car thing.
Yeah, he literally was going to say he had like a stakes where he's like, "Suffer. Who do you want, the children or Mary Jane?" He drops them both and says, "We are who we are. Choose." And he drops them both, and then like he comes back and beats the shit out of him. And then after he saves him, then he beats the shit out of him, where he basically tells him, "I'm going to kill you now for fucking like," and then I'm going to go kill Mary Jane. I'm going to go kill all those people. You're fucking dead now. And like, I mean,
that's fair enough. That's fair point. But I wasn't bothered by it.
But I understand. I mean,
I just didn't like the direction they did with Peter in Far From Home. They made the dumbest decision by giving him the fucking glasses.
That I didn't like either.
That was a stupid. That becomes way out of character for him, making that dumb decision. That was
my theory was probably
for a guy that you literally only met for a couple of hours. And you want to give all that away to him, pass the baton for a stranger that you hardly knew.
Yeah, I still think that to me was the weakest thing. Is like he gives him the glasses. Which to me, I always laugh. Like the dumbest thing is whenever he gives him the glasses, he goes, "See, that's how it's done."
It's like, no, I'm gonna go on vacation. Fuck everybody.
I like that when he stands up, Mysterio's giving a speech, and I'm like.
Like, why are you giving? Yeah, but the speech was so stupid. It feels like he was speaking to the audience, being all meta.
And then also, why at the end would not? I understand why he has a CGI suit, but why not at least let him have that suit on at the end when he's fighting Spider-Man? You know, because
it just wouldn't. It wouldn't make any sense if he had the suit on because he can't work. You can't put on the suit on and then add the motion capture it simultaneously. He can only do one thing at a time.
Him and the motion just wouldn't make it like it was an unfinished scene. That's all I see when I'm watching. Like,
well, no, it's CG because he's using a holographic projector and he's fucking using that as an illusion. He's trying to be the illusionist.
But I mean, I thought but yeah, that's our thanks on Spider-Man, the Spider-Man trailer. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping. It'd be really funny though in July if you guys hate the movie and I'm like, oh, that was such a great movie. And you're like, oh, that was a piece of shit. Matt has the picture of him going, oh, the worst Tom Holland Spider-Man movie yet. Oh my god, I'd rather watch Far From Home again over this. Oh my god, I hate this movie.
I mean, I doubt I would say that one for your prediction.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen there's some times where Matt was like, oh, I'm looking forward. And Matt's like, shit, that was a piece of shit.
What was that time?
I'm trying. That's last year. What was it? Last year was a movie that you were looking forward to, and then it turns out it was a piece of shit. You're like, oh, that sucks. Fuck, what
Maybe.
was it last year? I know you like The Flash. I know you like Fantastic Four. You like Superman. There's one movie that came out last year that I know I liked and you hated. And
I think it was Tron Ares. Was it Tron Ares?
I think that might have been Tron Ares. Yeah, because I know
Yeah, I was looking forward to that, and that movie sucked.
and I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, fair
There's
point.
times, look, that could be another Tron Ares where me and basically you were like, Matt's like, this is a piece of shit, and I'm like, that was great. I thought it was, which I'm not trying to be the opposition.
But to be fair, it was a director who made Maleficent too. That tells you something that had a lot of red flags.
And also, this was based off of the original script was written back in 2015, but Jared Leto come in and then told him, hey, I want to make Ares the lead because Kevin Flynn's son was supposed to be the lead, and then Olivia Wilde's character was supposed to get kidnapped at the end. Like a lot of it was still the same story, but it was supposed to be with Kevin Flynn and Olivia Wilde's character. She was the one that's supposed to be able to read the code and everything.
Yeah,
I'm like, that would have been so much better. That would have been such a better idea.
But yet you defend Tron Ares. You're a defender.
I enjoyed it for what it was. Yes.
I mean, no disrespect. I know it's all subjective, but I like to know A, what you were smoking, and B, what movie did you watch? Because I would love to see it.
Edibles. That's all.
I will turn this car around unless we go to the Oscars or whatever.
Okay, now on to the Oscars for the winners and for the losers.
Topical headline.
So, for the Academy Awards that it happened like a week ago, the Academy Motion Picture Arts and Science has now celebrated the 98th edition of the prestigious award winning. I'm trying to read off. Don't interrupt me. Prestigious Academy Awards. The 2026 Oscars honor an especially extraordinary year in cinema with widely treasured films such as Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler's Sinners, and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein leading the winners list. One Battle After Another especially walked away as the biggest winner from the 2026 Oscars with 6 awards total. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Supporting Actor for Sean Penn, the first ever Oscar for Best Casting, and Best Editing. Director Paul Thomas Anderson's 3 Oscar wins for One Battle After Another are his first ever, coming from a whoopee 14 nominations earned since 1998. Suffice to say, it was a huge night for longtime PTA fans. The same goes for director Ryan Coogler, who won Best Original Screenplay for Sinners. Coogler's behind beloved vampire period drama also won Best Original Score, Cinematography, and Actor for Michael B. Jordan. Sinners became the first female. Sinners, Autumn Durald Akapa became the first female cinematographer to ever win the Oscar, a landmark achievement. Meanwhile, Sinners composer Ludwig won his 3rd Oscar, coming from his wins for Black Panther and Oppenheimer. And in 3rd place, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein took home 3 Oscars: Best Production Design, Costume Design, Makeup, and Hairstyling. Additionally, cultural gems such as K-pop Demon Hunters and Sentimental Value won Best Animated Feature Film and International Feature, respectively. Keep reading and also, what did you think of the Oscar wins? What were your thoughts on the Oscars as a whole? Which one did you agree with the win, and which one you disagree with?
I personally think it went the way that I thought it was going to go. I didn't watch. I caught up later. I'm very happy that Michael B. Jordan won. Well deserved. I'm glad Paul Thomas Anderson won. I still have not seen One Battle After Another, but I'm a big PTA fan. I've seen every one of his movies up except for One Battle After Another. I know I'm getting around to it, and I will get there. But
even I saw it, and I'm usually late on the party.
No, I know I'm late, but good for him, well deserved. Sinners not winning though.
You're late, man. Always late.
I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Dick on that one, Matt.
I can't even fault you for that. That was actually funny.
Continue.
Go on, Ryan.
Anyway, so Sinner, your finger is on the keyboard, dude.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it again. I had to do it at least once.
So the thing, Sinners not winning Best Picture was a bit surprising to me. I liked Sinners quite a bit, but the whole thing around it where like everyone's just inflating it is like I don't know. I figured like, oh, that's a lock. But then when one battle after another one, I'm like, interesting choice. So overall, it went for the most part about the way I thought it would go. I'm glad F1 won for sound because that movie sounded awesome, legit. And overall, I don't have too many complex thoughts on it.
Have you seen Begonia?
Oh yeah, Begonia is really good. Like that movie is really, really good stuff.
What about Hamnet?
No, I heard that one was really sad.
You need to see it, man.
I loved it.
You're late on seeing that, man.
It's on, and it also streaming on Peacock. Hamnet is on streaming Peacock. Chloe Zhao did a terrific job in the movie. That was probably her best directing in a long time. Even though I have never seen No Man Lands, I still have not watched that film yet. And I liked Internals. I liked the movie, but I just don't think it was for her. I just think the film was not for her when she directed a Marvel movie. It's just not a type of film that would be up.
We're going to talk about Chloe Zhao in a little bit on the Buffy story, but I don't think
we'll get into that later.
Small Eternals story, but basically, when I was seeing Eternals, I forgot my chapstick in the car, so I ended up picking a moment, rushing out there, grabbing it, and then as it turns out, they had locked the doors on me because that was like the last showing of the night. So I'm like, let me in, I have a ticket. And someone had to come and like let me in. And then I walked back in. I'm like, oh, I didn't miss anything. I was gone 10 minutes and I didn't miss a single thing. They're still talking. And then like the rock monsters don't show up for another 5 more minutes. So they're still talking. They're still talking. But I digress.
They're still talking.
I wanted to get into the list of the winners. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll go through some of the important stuff. Like the best picture, the list of that got nominated. Begonia, I really loved. F1, Ian, I'm not surprised that it didn't win because I don't think it deserves to win, even though I love the movie. Frankenstein, it doesn't deserve to win because honestly, it's a great. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite films of last year, but I just don't think it would not have been my choice for it to win.
I think honestly, it would not have been even in the top 3 of my choices to win. I think honestly, Sinners or Marty Supreme would have probably, or Frankenstein would have probably been in my top 3 to win. Besides,
I mean, for Hamnet, I loved, like I brought it up before. I watched Marty Supreme, and I will say that I did not love it. I thought it was underwhelming.
I have not seen Marty Supreme. I still am late on that.
I mean, look, I will say that I love the performances. I love the cinematography. I love some of the costume design, the set design, all that shit. Timothée Chalamet. It would have been my choice for him to win, but I'm still happy Michael B. Jordan won.
He was on my list to win. I'm not gonna lie.
It was literally between him. It was really between Timothy or Michael B. Jordan. I would have been happy either way.
Michael B. Jordan won, which people
deserved it.
Yeah, people act like, oh, the comments is what. No, the votes were already cast before he made those comments. Okay.
Yeah, and also, the whole situation of him saying that he didn't like the fucking ballet or the fucking opera. It's not that big of a deal that people made it out to be. No one cares.
Opera is fucking boring. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I hate the opera. I went to an opera.
I'm not even big on ballet. I don't care. I usually don't care for ballet or opera.
So go to the bathroom, go eat some McDonald's, come back, and it will still be there. It will still be happening the exact same thing. It's not going to miss anything. You could go have a phone call for 40 minutes on AT&T about your service plan, come back, and you would not miss a thing.
I will say, mild defense, when I used to work at my local theater, about once a month we would get the Metropolitan Opera doing like a pre-recorded like presentation of like La Travia or whatever, and it was always packed with like older folks, but it was always packed. So there is an audience, an older one, but it is there. I didn't think Chalamet's comments were that out of pocket, but as usual, people on social media be like, Chalamet is an idiot.
It's not like he had it's not like he made it
much cooler than like people give it. I mean, also, like Swan Lake is really good, a good ballet.
But also, I will say, it's not like he fucking went on YouTube and created a video of 14 reasons why he fucking hates the opera or fucking ballet. It's not like he's fucking going on YouTube. It's like
Oscar, fuck ballet.
Fuck Oscar, fuck you motherfucker. Fuck you.
My fucking dick, ballet. It's like
Town Hall with Matthew McConaughey. Like, people, we need to like calm down about stuff like this.
It's like when people were criticizing Matt Damon, you know, what was it like whenever he was talking about Netflix, and now people are like, Netflix is dogging on him about, oh, you have to explain the plot every 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not saying like there are there are movies that are made by certain individuals, but like there probably are. Like, I'm sure if you watch like that Michael Bay film, what's his name? That shit, Six Underground. They repeat the plot every 5 minutes, like every hour. Okay. Oh, you're an elite team, and I'm just like, okay, we get it. You're an elite team. We get it. Yes. No, you're an elite. We fucking get it. Okay. Yes. Can you stop saying it? Like, it's like 5 times Ryan Reynolds is telling everybody what they are, and I'm like, that right there. Okay, Matt Damon is verifiable. Like, I can show you at least 3 films that right there that have been made by Netflix that explain the plot over 3 times. So I think Matt Damon is justifiable in explaining it. And also, like Ryan said, I think Timothée Chalamet is justifiable in his comments. Because guess what? The opera sucks, okay? Yes, opera sucks, okay? The ballet is actually pretty cool.
Wait for someone trying to cancel you. Fuck you, Jake. Fuck you, piece of shit.
Opera fucking sucks, okay? I've never watched an opera that I liked. There is no such thing as an opera that is good, okay? But opera, you can literally go run down the street, go to Walmart, buy your kids something, come back, get stuck in traffic, then go grab something to eat, have diarrhea, come back, go have a cigarette smoke, and then come sit your ass down, and you won't miss a fucking
Dude, you want to know what that reminds me? Spider-Man Far From Home, when they take him into the fucking opera and nobody wanted to go to the fucking opera and there's no one in that fucking opera.
Because it fucking sucks.
It's like no one wants to go to the opera.
If you're 90 years old and trying to like just have a moment away from people, there's no one's going to the opera. The opera is for old people. The opera is going to be gone in 20 years. You know it's going to be gone before movie theaters? The opera.
I wanted to piggyback on Marty Supreme from my thoughts because I didn't get a chance to finish it. But look, I just think the story structure to me was a bit messy and all over the place, where it goes one way and it goes another, and you're dragging so many subplots, and it kind of just reminds me of what one of the Safdie brothers did when they directed Good Time in fucking Uncut Gems. It feels like they're recycling that plot of that movie, and except it's different in the fucking time period, even though it's technically a biopic film. But look, I think Timothée Chalamet was fucking incredible in the movie, but his character was a piece of shit all the way through. He was rotten to the core, unlikable piece of shit.
I have not seen the movie, but everyone's telling me it's a character.
The Safdie brothers have one movie that they both do. It's the morally gray zone a-hole main character basically trying to fix something that they created by their own design. But they're so charismatic that you can't just help but being like, you know what? We're stuck with you. We might as well root for you. That's all of their movies. Like Uncut Gems.
Yeah, that's literally the same thing with Marty Supreme. He's literally trying to fix the problem that he fucking caused. And he's just using everybody in his life to get what he wants, and uses them and throws them under the bus.
And I gave Marty Supreme 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I really liked that movie.
Look, I haven't seen the movie, okay?
If I were to rate this movie, I give it at least a 5 out of 10. It's a kind of a mid film, but there's still stuff to love about the movie. There's stuff to love about it, but I just feel like the story structure really fucking loses.
Did you ever hear the story about the alternate ending that was going to be made, but the studio said hell no? Where Kevin O'Leary was a vampire, actually. It was going to be at the end of the movie. Kevin O'Leary was revealed to be a vampire, and he bites Timothée Chalamet on the neck and turns him into a vampire. That was actually going to be in the movie. Lord. And the director said we wrote it, and the studio said, yeah, we're not going to make this if you put that. And they said it's a fucking vampire movie. All of a sudden, now it's a ping pong. Now it's a fucking vampire movie. He said no. Cut that out. So they cut that. I will say
the ping pong sequences were really good from a visual standpoint. It looked really good. It's well choreographed, I will admit. And look, the music score was great, but there was moments in that music score that felt very 80s retro, even though it's supposed to be in the 50s or something. And it's like out of place. Like, are you making an 80s movie even though it's not in the 80s? And there's some things that they play classical jazz music too.
question. My
Literally,
question. Okay.
let me shrink Marty Supreme down to like one scene. Marty, you need to pay your bills. Okay. It's my own design.
And there's a story when he's going after the dog, and then he's dealing with this pregnant bitch that he knew for a long time. Like, oh my god, I don't fucking care.
I haven't seen the movie, okay?
And then Mr.
But-
Fabulous spanking him
like-
with a ping pong paddle, which actually happened.
Oh my god. Fucking
What?
no, I won't give that away. No, let's not
No.
give that away. I know he's gonna watch it out of
I'm
curiosity.
gonna watch it when it comes on HBO.
I don't want to
Max.
give away too much. We'll talk about that more later in somewhere down the line.
My question is this though. Like the Oscar, when the reason why people win the best actor or best actress is because it's a character that goes through things in the movie that where at the end you feel like either a sad relief or a tragic for this character, but you feel for the character. Sinners, you felt for his character. Marty Supreme though, isn't he like he just an everyday John Everyman where he's like a jack of all trades where he's like I can do anything and I'm the great character. There's no flaws with me at all,
dude. I will say he's not charismatic at all. He's a piece of shit all the way through. He was a piece of shit from the start, and he was a piece of shit by the end of the movie.
So basically, his character was just an everyman, like Ferris Bueller, an everyman that really has no stakes to his character at all.
Well, he kind of had stakes. I mean, he had some consequences, but yes and no, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Which Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, he has stakes. I can see he's playing two characters.
Because here's the thing: the difference is with Ferris Bueller. At least he had one moment when that car got destroyed at the end of the movie, and he was willing to take the fall for it. And his best friend said no. So that's why I had to give it. I don't really want to think that he was a total piece of shit. At least he was willing to take the blame, and everything would have gone sideways. But his best friend said no. I will tell him.
Okay. Which I mean, I will say I do think One Battle After Another. I honestly, I put that as I thought I was going to win because I feel like it's a timely film, and the actor unions, they love timely movies. And I feel like Sinners, the only reason why they won't give Sinners it because Sinners is a vampire film, and they're not going to give it to a freaking horror film. They're not going to give it to a vampire movie, just like Begonia is an alien movie.
But here's saying if. Like, I was willing to bet. I was at that moment. I literally thought that Ryan Coogler was going to get that win for directing. I know it was not going to happen, but in that moment, it's like, what if they pull a 180 if he wins? Because when directors win for best directing, it's a lock in the win that his movie's going to win best picture. That would have been a locked in for a guarantee.
I only started questioning my ballot whenever I was looking, and I was like, okay, look, whenever Michael B. Jordan, because I thought Timothy Chalamet had that in the bag, and then when he lost. I'm like, oh, there's a chance
because it happened because of the SAG award because Michael B. Jordan won for the SAG for Best Actor, and that was probably more chance that he has more chance of winning.
Which I think honestly, the thing also really about it is, I feel like okay, so I thought One Battle After Another is fine. I think Sinners is a much better movie.
I will agree with you. I will agree that I did like One Battle After Another, but I didn't love it as many people did. Yeah. But I can see why they did. I mean, if I watch it again,
they did absolutely. I mean, I understand why Hollywood loves this movie.
Yeah, I understand why they did. But if I were to watch, I've only watched it once in theaters, and I'm probably going to rewatch it again if my opinions have changed. If I liked it more or less, we'll see what happens. But I will agree that Sinners would have been my pick. Yeah. But we all knew that One Battle After Another was inevitable to win for directing.
One Battle After Another was definitely always going to win Best Picture. Like Sinners, it was basically like, oh, they might prevail. We all knew they weren't going to prevail because it's a horror movie, and like the Academy tried to market it like, oh,
the majority of the movie, it was more of a period piece drama for the majority of the film until you get to the third act and it became a vampire horror thriller.
Yeah, but basically that's right there what cost them the Oscar because if it would have just been like the KKK instead of vampires, they probably would have won the Best Picture, but. The Academy's
the vampire incident, it happened in 20 minutes, and then in the last 5 minutes, he takes on the Ku Klux for Michael B. Jordan's character.
Yeah, and I think that right there is where the Oscar Academy's like, no, we're not giving it to that for that. Which, by the way, I will say this though, there are some Oscars that they were nominated for that I thought they should not have been nominated for, like Best Costume Design, and I'm glad Frankenstein got that because. They bought their costumes from Marvel and made modifications to it. They literally have said this.
No, you're totally right. Because they literally bought those costumes that originally were made for the Blade movie.
Be angry if they won that because I'm like, that's cheating.
No, you're right. It's a good point. And I will say for the next film after one about the secret agent, I will say that I really enjoyed the film, but I didn't finish it all the way through because we were in the middle of the Oscars and I didn't have time to finish the rest of the movie. But so far, I've really liked it. but it would not have been my choice to win. I mean, I probably would have taken The Secret Agent off the list, to be honest with you. It's a good movie, but I don't think it was like, oh my God, it's amazing. But maybe by the time I finished the end of the movie, I feel differently. But I think the performances was great, and I think that the lead actor who was in The Secret Agent, which you may have remembered him from the movie called Civil War with A24. He was one of the main characters.
Oh, he was
Ragnar Mora. Yeah, Ragnar Mora.
Me and Stephanie were talking about the Oscars. And she was saying, like, for Best Actor, if Michael B. Jordan doesn't get it, she said she would think, like, I think, I'm paraphrasing here when she was saying, I think he would probably, like, the guy for Secret Agent would probably be a good pick because he did a really good job in Secret Agent, she said. So I haven't seen Secret Agent, but
it's supposed to be streaming on Hulu. It's streaming on Hulu for The Secret Agent. And sentimental value, I didn't get a chance to watch that movie. It's only available for rent and buy right now, and it's very cheap to rent it, but it's not on streaming service at the moment. But it won but it did win for international feature film, which, hey, I'm not that surprised. For the next one, Sinners, I do agree that Sinners was definitely my pick to win Best Picture. I think that should have won, but I understand why.
I was second guessing myself once Michael B. Jordan won, because I was literally like,
oh God, I wish I had that clip for Dumb and Dumber. Like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Speaking of Stephanie, say her name and she appears.
Oh no, we're not going to be taking any comments until the end of the video, but until we get through this segment.
But I will say this, Stephanie, yes, sentimental value was a snooze fest. I did watch that one. I agree with her. That was a snooze fest. Wasn't that's the one, right? That one bet was still in Skarsgård. That one best.
Yeah, that's the one with Elle
Best
Fanning.
Foreign film. I'm like, why would that movie? They vote for that movie. One. I'm like, best foreign film. That movie. I was like questioning.
Well, I can't say because I have not seen the movie, so I'll be the judge of it once I watch the movie. But the next one was in the category Train Dreams. That was with Joel Edgerton, and it was on the Netflix. But it's not a Netflix movie because they picked up from a different studio distribution. But I actually watched the film, during the Oscars, and I actually really enjoyed that film. It was better than I thought it would be. Joel Edgerton, amazing performance. Great cinematography, the way they did the camera work with wide shots and everything. Him building trains for the new frontier, but then the tragedy happens to his family and how he has to rebuild his life again after the loss of his family.
I haven't seen Train Dreams. You're selling me on this movie.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. It does have that kind of a Revenant feel to it, but it's not a revenge tale. But it's not going to action thriller or anything. It's a character study drama.
By the way, did you see the letter that one director sent to the Variety that said "Don't put my name on it"? Where he said, "Hey, like he says, none of these Oscars are good. None of these movies that deserve to win this year. The Oscars used to mean something and everything." And like he says, "My movies are better than these movies, and they should win." Which people are like, "Who is this guy's name?" And they're like, "We can't." He asked us not to say it. I'm like, it's got to be like James Cameron or Quentin Tarantino, because that just seems like one of them that would say that, because most directors would not say that. Steven Spielberg, I don't see him sending a letter to Variety, but I can see Quentin Tarantino sending a letter to Variety.
I agree. I totally agree. Tarantino would definitely do that.
Tarantino is throwing strays to Matt Lillard and a bunch of other people, so yeah, that's definitely up the alley for him.
Because this is which is he in the is he in the What the Fuck News today? Is that in that? Okay. He's in our news tonight because
we'll get to that one later. We'll get to that.
I will say, I do think though, like I said, honestly, I honestly think it's kind of bullshit to say that about Sinners does not deserve to be an Oscar winner or one battle after another. Look, I don't like every movie on the Oscar list, and but those movies have every right to be there compared to dude, if you don't think your movies deserve to be there, then guess what? Maybe you should make better movies, or maybe if your movie make movies to where you can compete. Don't sit there and bash it. They'll be like, oh, that's so pretentious.
But I will say that here's the list that I think it deserved on that list. Begonia deserved it 100%. Frankenstein, Hamnet.
Deserved to be on that list.
Yeah, I know. And One Battle After Another, even though I thought it was a pretty solid movie, but I can see why. The Secret Agent, it's a 50-50. I need to finish the rest of the movie. I don't want to crap on it completely because it's a good solid movie, but I don't think it was like, oh my God, it's one of the best movies of the year. Sentimental value, I can't say because I did not see the movie.
That's boring.
Well, I'll be the judge of that because we always be on the opposite side for certain.
We are in a lot of the opposition.
Yeah. Sentimental Sinners, loved it, deserved it. 100%.
Sinners absolutely deserves to be on that list.
Train Dreams, you know what? Yeah, I think it deserved on that list. I mean, F1. I love the movie. It's one of the best films of last year.
On a list too.
But I don't know. I don't think it deserved to be on that list. I just don't. It's a blockbuster movie that is more of like a 1980s.
It's like Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, it's like Top Gun Maverick, but in the racing car.
But my issue is this. You're basically telling every director on that list to fuck themselves. You're saying fuck you to Ryan Coogler, fuck you to Paul Thomas Anderson, fuck you to Guillermo del Toro, fuck you to Chloe Zhao, and fuck you to like Joseph Krasinski and all those other directors because they're like, oh, they don't deserve to be on that list. That is what pisses me off, where it's like you're writing a letter telling all these directors to go fuck themselves because you don't think that they're worthy enough. What the fuck do you want to be on that list? Oh, I want Avengers to be on the list, or Avengers, or like animes, or like I mean, like what do you want what do you want to be on that list? Okay, like you want to be like the MTV Movie Awards, where it's like, oh, the Housemaid won Best Picture.
Dude, I even got into a big debate with people online saying, why can the people vote? Well, how can the Oscars really trust random fucking people that only watch at least 2 or 3 movies a year? I agree with you. There are some issues with the Oscars, and they're trying to fix they were literally trying to fix the problem that happened in the past few years.
Do you know that this is something I just found out about? Do you know that your movie does not? No, they don't just choose the movies. The studios send them in, but they have to pay the Oscars to send them in. And if you don't pay to send it in, you don't get qualified for the Oscar.
Yeah.
So basically, you're paying to be nominated, and I think that's kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like but it does seem like they're trying to fix the problems too. So yeah, because they know they're getting called out on that bullshit.
Which especially cutting away at people. But I really do think though, best actor.
I mean, it's impossible to trust random people who only watch a couple of movies a year and don't. And how do you trust them to vote the right movies? Because they. Well, I mean,
look what happened when they tried to get most popular movie, and Zack Snyder won it. They tried that. Remember one year?
They tried it the whole the popular votes of the hashtag trend. Like that was stupid, and they got rid of it because they got the blowback.
Yeah, they said it was a flawed system. It was the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, any fucking random bots can do the hashtag and make the biggest number. Any bots on Twitter can do that.
Zack Snyder won every category. That right there should tell you something.
The Academy. Here's the thing: the Academy is not the MTV Movie Awards where the people vote from much online that not everybody has seen.
Like the MTV Movie Awards had an award for Best Kiss. Like, what else do you need?
It's also MTV Movie Awards has like Best Kiss, and they have like Best Homewrecker and Funniest Motherfucker.
And I want to talk about the Conan O'Brien host. Like, what did you think, Jake? Because I know that Ryan has not seen the show. But what did you think of Conan O'Brien as a host? Did you think he did very well with the segments of the jokes, or did it just it was mid for you?
You know, I honestly thought like the opening with like the weapons joke was so funny. I thought that was funny, and I honestly liked the Chris Evans, Robert A. Jr., the Magic Mike joke. I like that. Joke.
I did like the Magic Mike joke, but the beginning of the joke when they first came on stage was underwhelming. It was not that good. I feel like they should have gotten a better script from that shit.
And also, I think, honestly, like Conan O'Brien, I'm like, it feels like he did the opening and then the rest of it was just he was there. You know,
what about the YouTube joke? Because they remember that YouTube joke when he's saying, like, hey, the Oscars are showed it for free. And they show, and I can't remember the actress' name, but I know who she is. They showed the flashlight commercial joke from an infomercial that they showed on fucking.
We killed Bin Laden with this.
License and registration, motherfucker.
Honestly, that's true. That is honestly true, and I guarantee you, the YouTube's probably like, "Fuck, we need to fix that next year."
The interruption of ads when the Oscars starts to be showing for free on YouTube,
and the Oscar goes to flashlights. All right, he said, "We killed
flashlight, motherfucker." I'm not gonna lie, I died laughing.
Yes, like that right there is probably going to be the issue that YouTube's face. I will say I also liked I also think that some of the Oscars they kept cutting away, and I think some of the bits were not funny. And I think honestly they should like the bridesmaids jokes. I thought those jokes weren't funny. It feels like none of the cast got into it.
It was so flat. But I will say, remember that the Academy the category of best not animated the international foreign short film. Remember they got up on stage and they took up so much fucking time on their speech when their time was running out, and there's like, no, I'm more important. They pulled that Andrew Brody shit from last year, and that really pissed me the fuck off. Like, dude, get the fuck off the stage. Nobody cares. Nobody's ever watched. Nobody wants
the speech.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't need you to be fucking preachy about it. You had your time. You need to stick with it. You're not that important.
I understand they get 30 seconds to speak, but like, I think honestly, it's an award show that like you're putting your heart and soul and you're winning. This is shows.
Yeah, I understand. Dude, I understand that, but you have to fucking follow the rules because if one person goes overtime and they give them a pass. Think about other people that wanted to go overtime, and you're going to piss people off. You're going to
slap Chris Rock. He got a 2-minute speech.
I know, and that's the problem. And you're going to piss a lot of people off. It's like, hey, why you let them get overtime? Why do you give them a pass? That's going to be problematic.
They're afraid that Will Smith might start smacking again. Like he might go for round 2.
There was times where they shut the mic off when they're like, "Hey, time is up. We're shutting the mic
Conan
off."
O'Brien, they pulled to Conan O'Brien because they were done talking. He's like, go back to them. And then the mic went down and the mic went back up to them. And I'm just like, this shows you like whoever produced this year was a terrible produce. At least Jimmy Kimmel, everything, the only mistake he's ever had is
Jimmy Kimmel came on stage and make fun of it. Like, hey, I thought I was hosting or something. I can't remember what he said.
I would not be shocked if Kimmel will come back next year. I think he is a better host than Conan O'Brien.
I will give Adrian Brody when he was doing presenting, he poked a joke about going overtime. Like, you know what? I'll give him props for that. That was pretty funny that he did the callback.
I do like Karen Culkin's joke about the Oscar where he says when Sean Penn won, he goes, Sean Penn's not here. Either he just didn't want to be here or just wasn't here. And so I thought that was really funny about that because Sean Penn does not give a shit about the Oscars.
No, he did not make it. No, he didn't make it.
Which, to be fair, he went to Ukraine. So, I mean, it wasn't like he just sitting at home smoking a cigar going, fuck you. You know, it's like
I want to go into for the supporting actors or any, but I want to go touch on the best actress win. For me, like this was Jessie Buckley from Hammond. She won, and the other one was
Stephanie saw the one. If I had legs, I'd kick you, and she told me it was really good. So she says, you know, like I think.
I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I'm definitely going to check that out because it's on HBO Max. But Rose Byrne got nominated. Kate Hudson from Song Blue, which I watched that film like a day before the Oscars, and I thought it was a really damn good movie. And Kate Hudson was absolutely tremendous.
Song Blue is really underrated.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not a bad movie. It's really
Sweet Caroline.
And it's actually a true story because they have a full documentary of the real couple that did the whole cover of Neil Diamond and shit. But I thought they were, and I thought Hugh Jackman was phenomenal. Another great performance. He could do no wrong. But
and with Kate Hudson, we all knew Kate Hudson wasn't going to win. But I thought about like,
I knew she wasn't going to win.
How often is Kate Hudson going to go back up here and win and lose? Because like at the same time, like she's never going to be like. Kate Hudson's mostly, I mean, I like that she's known for, she got out of like Matthew McConaughey got out of being the rom-com person. She got out of that too. And now she's like, oh, she actually did a movie. She's actually an Oscar nominee now. And unlike Matthew McConaughey, who won the Oscar, she actually didn't win the Oscar. And I thought, I kind of wish she would have won, but at the same time, I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I think she would.
You got to remember, you're going up against Emma Stone from Begonia and Jessie Buckley from Hamden. Like, there's no way how you're going to stand a chance.
Before Jessie Buckley even, like, before Hamden even got in the conversation, everyone thought Emma Stone had it in the bag.
I literally thought the same thing too, because in my defense, when I did a review for
She's the Meryl Streep of our time.
Hold on, let me finish. Sorry about that. I know we're getting a little too all over the place. My bad. Sorry, Jacob. But I just want to say one thing before I forget. But I did a review like months ago before I saw Hamden because I watched it late in the game. Was around the time the Oscars, and at the time I literally thought that Emma Stone was going to get a lock-in for win for sure, especially from that movie itself. But when I watched Hamden, I was like, okay, I had to retract it. It's going to be Jessie Buckley. What she did in that movie was emotional. And she's also in the movie The Bride, the movie recently with Christian Bale.
The agony, the ecstasy.
Which I thought
that was going to hurt her.
Yeah, and you told me this a while ago, Jake, that like, oh my god, I thought they were not going to let her win because I thought they were punishing her from the Bride movie. It's like, no, they don't give a shit.
But
the votes were already in before the movie came out.
I guarantee you, if this movie had come out like in last year, around last November, her ass would not be getting that Oscar.
Maybe Maybe.
because they would make sure she didn't get it.
What were you saying, Ryan? I mean, I don't know if I cut you off or anything.
I was just gonna say a song sung blue was really good. But I already touched on that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, if you have not watched it, it's streaming on Peacock. It's a really damn good movie, emotional roller coaster ride. I was not expecting much out of that movie. I didn't have that much anticipation when I saw that trailer, but watching the movie, like, no, this movie's very underrated. Like, I think that people are overlooking that movie. It's getting slept on.
And Begonia is awesome. The ending will leave you.
I didn't like the ending. I'm the only one, I guess, that didn't like that ending.
Oh, I love the ending. That fucking had me in tears.
It made me like, sorry, I literally was like, basically could become like, I don't know why I became like, okay, well, how did this work? How did this work? Okay, so basically you pop the ozone layer, but yet dogs and animals are still alive. They need air to breathe too.
Well, we're talking about the ending of the Hamnet, not the ending of
but I thought you were talking about the ending of Begonia.
Okay, you're get a little mixed up to avoid the confusion, but we're talking about the ending of Hamnet.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about that. Should do the edibles after the live stream.
I'm like, hey, calm down, flat earther.
I should have literally took the edibles after the live stream.
If you know the ending of Begonia, you know. If you know the reference.
But Hamnet isn't that's based off Shakespeare, right? Hamnet.
Yeah, it's based off the book because after the tragedy of the loss of their son Hamnet, William Shakespeare made a play that was based off his son, and it was called Hamlet. Yeah, it was fucking good. I loved it.
But, I love when she won the Oscar. She said Mother Day today in Ireland, and I'm like, that to me, it was like, that's pretty good.
I want to talk about the wins for the best supporting actor. You had Benicio del Toro from One Battle to Another, Jacob Elordi from Frankenstein, Delroy Lando from Sinners, Sean Penn from One Battle to Another, and Stellan Skarsgård from Sentimental Value. From my personal thoughts, I knew that Sean Penn was going to get the lock-in for win. No matter who's in the nomination, as much as I love the other ones, it was definitely going to be Sean Penn, 100%. I love Jacob Elordi. I thought it was his best performance he's given as a Frankenstein's monster in the movie. Delroy Lindo, Sinners, as much as I loved him in the movie, but he was not going to stand a chance to win. Benicio del Toro, for me, I liked One Battle After Another, but my favorite character was that character, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah,
I would have much rather follow his story than Leonardo DiCaprio, to be honest with you.
My question here, because I was looking, when you look at the actor, either they have to go through some kind of traumatic transformation, like for shave their head, or they have to basically like shit in a bucket, or they have to basically stay naked or be a prostitute. Something that's got to make you like feel moving for this character. Like Jacob Elordi probably had that the most because he's going through all that prosthetics to play Frankenstein. But at the same time, it's Sean freaking Penn.
Yeah, Sean freaking Penn. Probably the
best. If Meryl Streep was up for Best Actress, Jessie Buckley would not have won. Meryl Streep would have won.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right. Ryan, I mean, I know you have not seen One Battle After Another, so I wanted to give your thoughts on the rest of the list. Like, which one would you have preferred to win?
Can I see the list, please?
Okay, hold on. Let me pop it up again. Okay, the list is Benicio del Toro, which I know it's two actors from One Battle to Another, so we'll take that off the list. Jacob Elordi from Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo from Sinners, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Have you seen Sentimental Value, Ryan?
No, I was intrigued by it because I love Stellan Skarsgård. Like, I think he's a great actor, but I have not gotten around to it. If I had to choose, I'd go with Elordi because I love that Frankenstein movie. It was phenomenal. Like, Guillermo del Toro went above and beyond that one.
What about for Best Supporting Actress? We haven't talked about Amy Madigan.
Okay. I'll list off the names for Best Supporting Actress. Elle Fanning from Sentimental Value
did not have a shot in hell to win. I know.
I'm trying to finish off the list. We'll get there. There's like two actresses that were in the Best Supporting role for one Sentimental Value with Igna. I'm butchering the name. I can't pronounce it right. I can't pronounce that shit. With Amy Magnan again from Weapons, Woman of Moscow from Sinners, Tanya Taylor, One Bad After Another. I'll give you my initial thoughts on it. I literally thought that Tanya Taylor from One Bad After Another was going to get that win. I literally believed that she was going to get a
She was on my ballot list. She was on my ballot to win.
She was part of my vote. I did not expect Amy to win for weapons. I mean, I'm glad she won. She did a phenomenal job in weapons, but I literally thought that Teyana Taylor was going to get that lock.
I honestly would have placed her third to win.
Yeah.
I would have put her. I would have said Elle Fanning's the last.
I love when Amy got the win, and Harris looked at her like, I love that.
Yeah.
That was something I was telling Stephanie. Stephanie's like, it's got to be Amy Madigan. And I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to be her. I think it's going to be Teyana Taylor. Amy Madigan wins. I'm like, well, you're right. Just like she called Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, well, I said no, it's going to be Timothy, and nope, Michael B. I'm like, wow, there goes. That's like there's a few times I was wrong that Sunday night, and I'm like, that was one of those times where I'm like, Amy Madigan won Best Supporting Actress, which I was like, she's probably third on that list to win, because I would say Sinners is going to win. I would say it's going to be Sinners, or no, I would say it's going to be One After Another or Sinners.
I honestly thought that she was not going to stand a chance to win for the actress in Sinners. I didn't think she was going to have that lock.
I thought they were going to.
I definitely truly believe it was going to be Tanya Taylor, or Amy, because two of them had more chance to win than the rest of the people on the list.
I feel like, but I'm glad Amy Madigan got the Oscar, because I mean the odds of her winning again at her age are slim to none. So, like I said, unless she does something incredible like next year, but I don't think she's going to. I think she's kind of like, I'm going to retire soon. Because I mean, she's like 80.
It's kind of like when Jessica Tandy won for Driving Miss Daisy. She'll never win again, so we might as well get her now.
Yeah.
Even though.
Go on. Okay. I'm not going to go on for too long, but I wanted to do at least one more category, and it's the best animated feature film.
Okay.
So I gotta use the bathroom, but you guys talk it out.
Yeah, we'll talk amongst ourselves when you're going to the bathroom. For the animated feature, Arco, Elio from the Disney Pixar movie Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelia, or the character of Rain in Zootopia 2, which for me,
I knew Disney wasn't going to get this.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I knew damn well from day one when I watched that film, K-pop Demon Hunters, which I love K-pop Demon Hunters. I knew that this was going to get the lock-in for the win. The
Academy's been assholes to Disney for like the last 5 years. Like, they have not given them any wins. Like, I don't think they have won. Did any of their movies in the last 5 years won Best Picture? I mean, I think every single year it's like a new animated film that wins. It's not a Disney film. And I think, honestly, it's probably makes sense why, because Disney, honestly, I said, Disney's just like, they haven't made really good content. Like, honestly, good movies to make it. Zootopia 2 made $1 billion.
Inside Out 2 from Pixar, from Disney, which is Disney, it made a lot of money, and it got good word of mouth from that movie.
Which it didn't win the Oscar, though.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
Which, honestly, I mean, people.
And also, animated films from last year had been underwhelming. There weren't very many, a lot of animated movies.
The Wild Robot, I think. Didn't the Wild Robot win last year?
No, it was not. It was, God, what was that other movie that came out? Hold on, I gotta look this up. I can't remember what the name is. But
I know it was like the Wild Robot or something like that.
It wasn't the Wild Robot, which I thought that should have got the win. Hold on.
Imagine. I think honestly, Disney at this point is just like, I would just stop submitting those animated movies. And, wait 10 years, because every year it's always Disney versus this. It's always Disney versus this. And people don't give a shit about Disney as much. It's like you got Pixar. Pixar, literally, Hoppers. I guarantee they're going to put Hoppers up for Best Picture.
Hold on. The movie Flow won last year over the Wild Robot. I'll show you the poster in case you don't know what this movie is. Hold on, let me see.
Oh no, I know it's not a Pixar movie.
No, it's a foreign. It's more of like a silent movie, really.
Yeah, it's from France.
Yeah, it's a foreign film.
It's really good.
It's really fucking good. I loved Flow.
It's legit such a beautiful movie. It looks like the animation kind of looks like watercolor paint.
It is. It's 100%.
Any day now, Matt.
I'm coming.
You're late, man. Always late.
I can't wait to see that clip where Obi-Wan say patience. Yeah, this movie I'm talking about.
This, I know about the cat. Okay, that I understand why that went. Yeah,
yeah. Have you seen that movie?
Cat.
I haven't seen it, but I know the movie. Yeah, I think honestly, that's what I was telling him. I said Pixar has been losing every year at the Oscars. This is just like now a reoccurring role for them. Like, yeah, we're not going to win. So I don't even think now that anyone shows up for the Oscar for Pixar, they're like, well, we know we're not going to win because.
If you have not seen Flow, it's on HBO Max. I highly recommend it. It's a great animated film. It surprised the hell out of me. Even though I understand why that got picked over The Wild Robot, but I still think The Wild Robot was better.
I think honestly, look, here's the thing. I think honestly, the animated movie, K-pop, I knew K-pop Demon Hunters was going to get that because
hell yeah, it was.
People love it, and people hate Disney, so they're going to say we're going to vote against it.
And people want to think that it's a Netflix movie, but no, it's a Sony movie.
It's a Sony film that Netflix distributed.
Exactly, 100%.
And so, which I think that really, yeah, I mean. I think whichever award I will say before we wrap up this segment of the Oscars, one thing I thought was best for best visual effects, Avatar.
Oh yeah, the best was. Oh god, I cannot believe I left that part out.
Some people are upset that Sinners I'm like, you realize Sinners, which by the way, best costume, Avatar was nominated for best costume, which I'm like, Avatar does not deserve to be nominated for best since they're not really using costumes.
Yeah, they're not using costumes. It's in a mocap stage. It's all CG 100% all the way through in the movie. There's nothing live action except for the human characters. That was the only one that was real, but the rest of it, no, it shouldn't be credited as best costume design.
Also, best makeup went to Frankenstein, which they said Sinners was nominated. Some people were upset Sinners didn't win. I'm like, you realize Sinners, if they would have won that, some people could have complained about it because Sinners, they use CGI for their makeup also to enhance it. So they didn't really use makeup like Frankenstein. They use practical effects. I feel like if you're going to win, you use practical effects. Do not enhance it with CGI.
But the CGI, that's one thing. But the only great thing about CGI is that you cannot tell it's CGI. And then if you can't tell, then you're doing something right. Then it deserves it because the whole point of visual effects is that you can't tell if it's visual effects. And here's the list of the visual effects of the movies: Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, which I've never seen. I've never seen that movie.
That's not Matthew McConaughey film.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be an Apple TV movie if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and then you got Sinners. I knew Avatar, Fire and Ash was going to get that lock in for win. That was 100% locked in. It had the best visual effects.
Against Avatar, you're a fucking idiot. I
mean, I don't give a fuck if you don't like the movie, but you cannot tell me the visual effects were not 100% perfection because James Cameron's all about perfectionist. And if you watch that movie, so fucking good. I don't care.
How would you rate the year? All right, so wrapping up, how would you rate the year's Oscars?
3 out of 5.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5 for the Oscars. Solid, but not the best. But I'm glad that it went on a little bit shorter because they did not have any else performing on stage. They had only at least a few important ones that are in the category for best original
this was
song.
A short Oscar, and I was actually happy. I actually had more. It was 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'm like, damn,
speaking of original song, I know one more thing. The one that for the best original song. Sinners did not win. Golden won for the K-pop Demon Hunters. I obviously thought that Sinners was going to get that win.
I would have probably voted for that. I probably put that on the ballot. I didn't really vote for the songs. I just circled something. But I think honestly, I thought Sinners would have got it because that song had transcendent. I honestly wanted them to perform Road to Dublin, but that's a cover song, so that would have been ineligible because you can't. Yeah. It has to be an original written song.
You need to be original. You can't
make a cover song. Yeah, because remember years ago they did that one movie I think was from Chicago or something got nominated, and they're like, that is a cover song that should not be eligible for best song, and then they had to dispute it, and so they came out with a rule that says they think they came out with a rule it has to be an original song written for the movie, and if it's not, then you can't cover it.
Yeah. Anyway, now we finally officially wrapped up. Tell us what you thought about the Oscars. Were you satisfied with the wins, or some of the categories you thought they should have won? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm sorry we went a little bit too long for the Oscar category because there was a lot to cover, but we had to cover as much as we could, and we had to cut it a little bit short. But on to the next topic for the next segment for the Sarah Michelle Gellar has announced that they are canceling the reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
first off, show of hands here. Who has actually seen the entire series or at least watched an episode?
I only watched at least 1 or 2 episodes of the beginning, and I never watched the rest of it. I fell off the show.
The show's really good. I mean, I actually probably speak more on this because I am a Buffy fan.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of bummed me out when I first read it. But then after you read the whole shit, you're like, I'm kind of relieved now because I think it's better. I'd rather have nothing than have shit.
We'll get into it. Yeah. We'll get into it. I'm going to get into that story. So yeah, it officially announced that she took to her social media that the show has been canceled for the whole revival of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer that we were supposed to be getting, and Chloe Zhao was supposed to be attached to direct the pilot episode of the show. Sarah Michelle Gellar recently took to her Instagram a story to speak out for the first time on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot that currently has a pilot order at Hulu. Buffy fans have been divided on social media over whether or not a reboot is needed. News of the Buffy reboot broke on February 3rd. And here's the quote from Sarah Michelle Gellar. So you might have heard some news this week, but I realize you haven't heard from me. Gellar wrote to the fandom. 3 years ago, I got a call from my dear friend and mentor, Gail Berman. She told me that she wanted me to sit down with Chloe Zhao to hear her take on a potential Buffy revival. I was blown away that Chloe even knew who I was, but as I've always done, I told Gail that I just didn't see a way for the show to exist again. We always been aligned on that, but this time I heard something different in her voice. And she continues, Gellar agreed to a meeting mainly so she could just get the chance to talk with No Man Land Oscar winner Zhao, but their 20-minute coffee quickly turned into a 4-hour adventure, the actor wrote. While I didn't agree to anything at the meeting, I did shock myself by agreeing to continue the conversation. And Gellar continued, these conversations did, in fact, continue over the next few years, and eventually we added the incredible Nora and Lila Zuckerman to our little tribe until ultimately one day we landed on an idea. I have always listened to the fans and heard your desire to revisit Buffy and her world, but it was not something I could do unless I was sure we would get it right. She concluded, this has been a long process and it's not over yet. I promise you, we will only make the show if we know we can do it right. And I will tell you that we are on the path there. I feel so lucky to be on the journey with these 4 unbelievably talented women, all of whom love Buffy as much as I do. And as much as you do, thank you to all the fans who never stopped asking for this. This will be for you. And Gellar is set to reprise her iconic role of Buffy Summers in the reboot. Although the series is expected to focus on a new character and will feature Gellar in a mentor supporting role. Norris Zuckerman and Lila Zuckerman are attached to write, showrun, and executive produce the series, while Zhao is attached to direct the executive produce.
Which I have an issue. All right, so I sent you out, and if I just check your messenger, I just sent you the thing that once John Roca basically said that his sources just told him, like what was said about like no Sarah. There's actually a lot like a problem. I don't know if you could share screen that like that what I just about the John Roca thing.
Yeah, but that's on Messenger. It's not on my browser.
Oh well, basically, this is basically what is said. Okay. Basically, they're trying to say, Chloe Zhao was the reason, like, she didn't get enough coverage and all this stuff. And, like, this is like a lady who's up for Best Director at the Oscar. Tell her she can't direct a TV pilot, which is bullshit. And so, like, Roca went on and said, oh, fuck this. Sarah Michelle Gellar's people, maybe even Hulu, are trying to throw Chloe Zhao under the bus over Buffy. Nope, not letting this happen to this incredible, talented woman of color. I was going to stay quiet with all this stuff I heard, but nah, let's do this. Since my post 48 hours ago, my source that told me Gellar is the issue from the beginning. This was just an IP grab to stop Slayer projects from proceeding. which my sources have heard from person involved in the original series. Geller wasn't terribly interested in rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is why her role was very limited and was going to be more than one line. Geller had intentionally courted a creative who had a mixed history as showrunner, but was a known fan, so that was the easiest fault on her as the reason for the series' failure. There was also a lot of love bombing from Sarah Michelle Gellar to Chloe Zhao before the latest excuse was to put their blame on Zoe and throw her under the bus. Geller constantly shouted down cuts or cut off from executives and production people who were trying to fix the issue with the show. One even said Geller wanted to make changes to Buffy's character that established canon of the series that would have pissed off 90% of the fan base. And now it just came out that the Hollywood Reporter that Geller doesn't even want you reading the script or watching the leaked pilot. No surprise, it just shows almost like she approved that we're getting the wreck of the show in the canon. By the way, all sources I trust are giving me the correct info from the past, so you might want to put down your roses colored fan glass and put on some red colored ones. That was John Roca. That's that. Which that does make more sense because, there has been people forget the original Buffy pilot, the original from Joss Whedon series. That was a terrible pilot, and they reshot the pilot. Originally, Allison Hannigan was not Willow in that series. They had a different actress that played Willow in the pilot, and it was a terrible pilot. And it's on YouTube, that pilot. And it's an awful pilot. And it's a completely different pilot. The only difference I think was they kept most of the cast, but yeah, it was a terrible pilot. And they said, no, we got to redo that again. And I'm like, I've seen pilots like Game of Thrones. People forget Game of Thrones. What?
Oh, nothing.
People forget Game of Thrones had a pilot. Remember, Game of Thrones had a terrible pilot. They reshot that pilot over. And I'm like, so bad pilots happen all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad pilots happen all the time.
Boy Meets World had a bad pilot.
Here's even Drake and Josh had a bad pilot, and they had to redo another pilot. Not because it was bad, because they had to replace the actor who played the dad, and they had to redo the pilot for Smallville because they had to replace the mom. They had a better actress to portray Martha Kent. So it happens all the time when they do reshooting the pilot and try to.
But it feels like it's saying that Sarah Michelle Gellar probably did not want to do it because she didn't want to do the series, and so she was kind of like saying, hey, well, let's just release it. And so that way the Buffy fans can say, hey, here's the series. And they're like, watch one episode.
You know what that reminded me? The Lizzie McGuire revival show for Disney Plus. They shot a pilot and then they got canceled.
But I think from the Lizzie McGuire, from everything we read, it was because the Disney was not, they wanted to make it for kids. And they were
because it was more adult. It was more of an adult themed show.
Yeah. Well, they said, Buffy, they were trying to make it more mature, like the original series. Like they were making it dark and mature. And Chloe Zhao was even on board with that, but then it seems like
they wanted to go for Buffy to be more of the supporting role because, according to Robert Meyer Burnett on the John Campea show, he had the script of the pilot of what they have filmed.
For the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, she shows up at the very last fucking end of the episode of the pilot because they were focusing on new characters. They were doing this whole requel style. You know what that reminded me? Yeah, it reminded me of Scream 5. Remember Scream 5? Sydney was not the main character. They labeled her as the main character in the market.
But it's not called Sydney 5.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. She's the face of the franchise. They labeled her as the main
Buffy
character.
The Vampire Slayer, New Sunnydale, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer doesn't show up till 30
because you got to understand, even though it's called Scream, Neve Campbell Sydney is the face of the franchise. It's her franchise. And when they marketed Scream 5, they labeled her as the main character. And she shows up in a cameo.
But unlike Scream 5, Scream 5 was actually good. It's
actually good.
Terrible. And which honestly, my biggest issue is they could have fixed this pilot. I guarantee you. It seems like Sarah Michelle did not want that.
Yeah, but she went on to say that they don't give up. There's still a chance that they can try to redo the pilot and get picked up from another streaming platform.
And you know what that means, right? They're probably being like, we want to make it, just not with you, Sarah. Because remember, a couple years ago, they were going to do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer remake.
Didn't they say that she was difficult to work with on set too?
Yeah. Do you know why? Do you want to know? I'll tell you right now. Do you want to know why she's not in The Grudge 2? Why she dies the first 10 seconds of The Grudge 2? It's because Sam Raimi said, I don't want to work with her anymore. I worked with her on the first one. Kill her off.
Damn.
That's why she's not in The Grudge 2 for more than 10 seconds.
Maybe that's the reason why she's there for the last 30 seconds of that episode, because she was kind of difficult to work with. I think it may be because it might be the ego thing going on.
Because guess what? Jennifer Love Hewitt said she did when they did the new "I Know What You Did" last summer. She had one note when she come back. I don't. And when they were trying to do a cameo for Sarah Michelle Gellar, she goes, "I don't want to have a scene with her.
Ooh, damn, that's a
I don't
sick.
want." That's why they gave it
pretty
to Madeline Klein's cameo. Has a scene with her instead of Jennifer Love Hewitt. Because Jennifer Love Hewitt says, "I don't want a scene with her," and she even said, "I don't want to sit with her at the premiere either."
I mean, Ryan, I know you haven't seen the show. I get it, but I want to know your thoughts, and I want you to chime in and what you thought about the whole canceled pilot situation.
There's more to this than everyone is letting on. I think ideas were pitched, maybe even a draft of a script was written, and someone said, this is not going to work. And so there was just too much of a plans change, pal kind of thing. And so it was a game of what this town ain't big enough for the two of us, and Geller got the axe. Will this go forward? I think so in some capacity. From what I understand, there is enough of a fan base for this to where it could merit this keeping going again. But I mean, like in the big 2020s, like we've seen like crappy remakes and reboots of things that have been beloved and all of that. So we've been down this road before. So no, this is a weird one. I think where it sits is that I feel like Geller got told to move respectfully. She didn't want to, and then she was basically like forced out.
Yeah, makes sense.
It pisses me off that she's trying to throw an executive under the bus. And that right there, I think, is what really hurt me. Is like, you're literally trying to, you're Buffy, and you're like, and you're trying to say, oh, I did nothing wrong. I'm like, you know what? Apparently now everybody's saying, yeah, actually it was her that was the fault. Like a lot of times they're like, why would you try to rewrite? Yeah, I saw set photos of her in a blazer.
Yeah, she kind of looked like Gail. She kind of looked like Gail.
Dressed like that in the show.
Yeah, but here's the thing: she's dressed up like Gail Weathers from the wardrobe from Scream 5. Hey, they want that wardrobe back.
I think what it was is like Sarah Michelle Gellar probably was like, if I fuck up the show enough, then they're like, we're not gonna make it.
That would make a lot more sense. I mean,
here's my conspiracy theory hat on. I'm putting my conspiracy theory hat on.
Go for it.
I think maybe she's loyal to Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon, since he got thrown out of Hollywood because after the whole Justice League incident, she probably I know she said, "Oh, I will be happy to be associated with Buffy," but a month before that, she was like, "Oh, Joss Whedon is the greatest showrunner ever, and I'll never do it without him." I have a feeling that she still probably is loyal to him. She's just saying that for PR purposes, and then she probably went to him and he says, "Fuck up the pilot as much as possible, and then afterwards they'll come back to me." And they'll be like, it'll be like the Thanos thing. It says, you couldn't live with your own failures, so where'd you come back to? Me.
Joss Whedon's going to be getting a phone call very soon.
Oh, and then speaking, one thing I want to say, because they recently are going to try to develop the revival of Firefly that was done by Joss Whedon, and Nathan Fillion went on his social media and said, yeah, we talked and he actually was willing to give the rights to us, and then now we can actually move forward. Even without Joss Whedon,
which I think
at least he still credited him. At least he still credited him. It's like, hey, he gave us the show Firefly that became a cult following, even though it got canceled after season 1, and we did the movie Serenity. But it was great to work with them. But now we wanted to do a revival, and they're in development.
Which I don't. I know
that next time.
Which I think honestly though, did Joss Whedon? I mean, what's the worst thing he did? He's being an asshole.
No, he did something inappropriate on the fucking set of Justice League. I mean, like fucking Ray Fisher called him out many times.
He verbally abused people, but I mean, like he didn't sexually assault anyone.
Well, he kind of was inappropriate with Gal Gadot, and he did not want to. She did not want to be shot around him, because if you've seen in the Joss Whedon cut, there's a lot of shots that was not Gal Gadot. They used a body double and they CGI'd her face because she did not want to shoot any scenes with Joss Whedon.
But like it wasn't like everything I read.
Because he did something inappropriate that he wasn't supposed to be fucking doing.
But I mean, like he didn't like grab her butt or nothing like that. He may basically did a few scenes that like in Avengers: Age of Ultron, where he basically did the whole
boob joke, and she did not want to do that scene, and that was not even her in that shot.
Which I mean, it'd be different if you come up with a joke like that, and then an actor doesn't want to do it, and then you do it anyway. But it'd be different. But him going and assaulting the actress is one thing. I would say, I think honestly, being a dick on set is not really a crime. Because if that was the case, Michael Bay would be in.
I mean,
director's
there's probably a little bit more to it that what Ray Fisher had.
I mean, there are stuff. There's stuff on Buffy that was read about it where it's like
even remember James Masters or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That was one of the main characters.
James Masters.
Yeah, he talked about it in the Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. He talked about that story working on.
Also, Chris McCarpenter plays Cordelia, where he told her to get an abortion because she's going to ruin season 4 of Angel. It's
like, oh God.
And then he said, when she didn't, she fired her. That right there is horrible.
Yeah.
So
now, no, go on.
But I was just saying, like, I think honestly, like, yeah, being an asshole. I mean, if it's just him being an asshole, then you can say, hey, look, we'll work with him, but like, we'll let somebody be on set to monitor, make sure. If we'll have like a PR, like, the safe spaces or something where people can go to and say, look, I don't feel comfortable now because he's yelling at us or something. Like something like that is fine, but like. If he's like going around grabbing women's asses and boobs and going, hey, yeah, you like that, don't you, bitch?
I mean, you never know. He could have.
I know he did say one in the when he tried to do like that PR piece to justify his actions, where he says that he was like he got an extra from Buffy. He put her in the show because he was having sex with her, cheating on his wife. Which I think I know which one because there's some random girl that just shows up for no reason.
I mean, I will say look. I loved what Joss Whedon had done with the Firefly and Serenity. I love what he did with the first.
I love what he did with Buffy.
Look, I haven't seen Buffy all the way through, so I can't judge on the show or Angel because I have not watched that show either.
Yeah, I think you would like Angel more than Buffy. I think you like.
Most people say Angel's better than Buffy. From what I've heard.
I will say, knowing you, I would say the first 3 seasons of Buffy you would like, and then you would like Angel more. The rest, I think you would hate Buffy the rest of the way. If you start with,
maybe.
Because it's like a joke after.
I did like what he did with Age of Ultron, even though I didn't love it as much. It was a little bit of a step down on the first one because I thought the first one was like what really set the groundwork of the modern golden age of fucking comic book movies. And if it weren't for that success, I don't think it would be where they are now because it set the tone of the MCU by the time you see the Avengers. So I'll give him some credit with that, even though I was like fucking let down on what he did with the Whedon cut of the movie and hijacking what Zach's vision. But all that aside, I still liked some of his past work. That I'll judge that.
You can still love him for his work and still.
Yeah, exactly.
A mutual friend of ours absolutely hates.
Yeah,
absolutely hates that he can't. That
I'm one of those people that I just judge the art instead of the artist.
Your camera's blurry.
Hold on. Doesn't know how to focus. Hold on, let me see.
Gotta focus. What?
Anyway, I feel like this is a situation that's going to evolve. We don't know it yet, but I feel like it will evolve.
I feel like, all right, now it's in camera. It's clear.
Oh, God. Also, oh, God. Is it going to be like forever?
I honestly, yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows? At the end of the day, I would not be shocked, though, if Disney did get Joss Whedon back, to fix the show.
I mean, honestly, I highly doubt it.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if it did.
I mean, if he has a big comeback story, I mean, I don't know if he will. I mean, I'm all about great comeback stories.
In a world where the director of Rush Hour 4 is coming back to make Rush Hour 4.
Well, right now they're in development. Well, right now there's been a say that there may and may not happen.
And that dude got like 9 accusations against him.
That's true. Well, that was done. But to be fair, it's under Paramount by the Ellison brothers. Yeah. They're bringing back a lot of people who are canceled. So Disney, they will definitely not bring back Joss Whedon. Fuck, they're not going to do that. Well, they're not Paramount. Paramount, that's different. Paramount does not give a fuck.
Paramount's like, we're the uncancelable studio today.
We're the uncancelable studio. Come with us. God. Guess what? Oh God, I wish I had that X-Men Apocalypse clip when Apocalypse coming to Portal the Magneto. Like, come with us. If you get it, you get it.
All right, but yeah.
But anyway, we're wrapping up the story. Tell me what you thought about this whole revival Buffy show getting canceled. Were you happy that it got canceled, or do you wish they would have given them another chance and let other streaming platforms get picked up? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So next up that I want to cover the Scream 8, the director for the upcoming Scream 8 that is no longer directing or writing, which is Kevin Williamson, who directed and written Scream 7. So he took to this quote recently, and this is a very short one. It's not very long. I have some ideas where it can go, but I'm anxious to see what another storyteller could do with. So I wanted to see what you thought about, Jake, about this whole news that Kevin Williamson is not going to be attached to direct Scream 8.
Well, I'm kind of bummed because I thought, look, you can say blame the story all you want, but I don't think it was the directing that was bad. It was the writing that was bad. And I think, honestly, I think that's kind of bummer because I feel like with the one thing I think the Scream franchise thrives on is continuity with the director. And so, like, Radio Silence did Scream 5 and 6, and Wes Craven did 1 through 4. I was hoping, I mean, because it seems like Wes Craven, not Wes Craven, but Kevin Williamson was like before when Scream 7 was coming out. He's like, oh, I'm gonna do Scream 8. We're already got idea, has a great idea for Scream 8, and now it seems like all of a sudden he's like, I'm not doing it. Either something happened, maybe it's because the backlash probably for Scream 8. Well, that's probably why he probably is like, it's just not worth it. I'd rather people like me than people hate me, or maybe it's because like the reviews were terrible and he doesn't want people to like, maybe it hurt his like, self where he's like, I was working like, because now you hear all these stories like Emma Roberts, I believe, came out with a story recently. It said she was contacted for a cameo, and Mikey Madison was contacted, and Jack Quaid was, and they all turned it down. And everything, and like Emma Roberts said, like she said Emma Roberts, I believe, had a story where I was reading. It says she said, "Oh, Kevin Williamson called me and said, hey, would you do a cameo for Scream 8 or 7?" And she goes, "Send me the script." And he said, "It's a piece of shit." And he goes, "Oh, I'm reworking it." And she said she walked out of coffee shop, and he's there going, "Hey, Emma, I'm rewriting the script right now," and everything. And she just goes, and then so she said it kept happening so often that she had to get into a coffee shop.
For me personally, I'm glad that he's not coming back to write or direct it because look, I love Kevin Williamson. Hold on. I love what he did with the first 2 Scream movies because he did write those movies in the first 2, especially fourth one, even though I didn't love fourth one that much. But it's not a bad movie. I'm not saying Scream 4 is bad. I just didn't love it as much as the other films. But for Kevin Williamson, it was just a bad idea for him to direct it in the first place, even though the script was completely a fucking tremendous mess. And there was a lot of rewrites as they were going along when they were shooting the movie. But your job of a director is to execute the script, whether it's bad or good. If you can't execute your script, then your directing is really bad because he has less of experience. He only directed one little small movie that he did in the late 90s, around the time when he was written a lot of these few slasher movies like Scream or the sci-fi horror of The Faculty. But I just think him as a director was not the right choice. It was a total like a desperation just to get people in the theater and try all this fucking fan service memorberries, sucker everybody to believe that Matthew Lillard's Stu was still alive in that fucking movie. And that was a dumb decision of how they've used him. I know it's been out for a while, and I know it's a little bit of a spoiler, but the way that they've handled him was so bad. And from what you brought up, Jake, about with Emma Watson, what was it? Roberts, Emma Roberts. Sorry, what the fuck am I getting that name wrong? But Emma Roberts and Mikey Madison were attached to coming in as a cameo, but we already know why they turned it down because of the way they handled those cameos, like David Arquette, Matthew Lillard, and the actor who
they didn't
played
get him on
Billy,
a green screen. They gave him a black shirt and said, "All right, now speak."
It had something to do. I will say AI fucking generated. Fuck you for that. That's one thing that really pissed me off.
That's disrespect to AI. They got the actors on a green screen. That's not AI. That's just green screen bullshit.
Even Billy's mother made a cameo in that movie. It was so cringy. Like, what are we watching?
To make the actors look like they did in the movie. They just got the actors how they looked right now. Like they just like look. Here's also Timothy Chalamet, not Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Olyphant from Scream 2
said he couldn't do a cameo because he was like they couldn't make the schedule work. Which I'm like,
yeah.
Timothy,
you know what? Thank God he didn't come back. Like it's just like
a 60-year-old Timothy Olyphant. You're like, why the fuck?
They all look like, I'll give that a pass for David Arquette. I'll give it a pass for David Arquette because he died in Scream 5. Spoiler alert if you have not seen Scream 5. But the rest of them that died very young age, they look fucking older. How are you going to fake the AI generated of an older that has never who died at very young? Tell me the logic in that, especially Stu. Are you kidding me? And there's one. Sorry, I'm cutting off, Ron. I want to say one thing before I forget, and I'll go back to you. But with Matthew, there's a theory going around online. I saw on TikTok that the one introduction when they showed Stu's face in the movie, and he's all scarred and all fucked up in the face because he got hit with the TV. There's a chance that was the real Stu, and that the rest of those AI generated of him that was fake. There's no scar in his face. It's all cleaned up. So there's still a theory that he could still be alive and that they're saving him for the next movie.
That because did you hear what I said? Remember last time I told you where apparently they did a test screening and in the post-credit scene it was supposed to be Matthew Lillard was supposed to be alive as Stu, But
Uh-huh.
the test audiences hated that. They said it goes against Scream continuity, and they were so anti-Stu being alive that they removed the post-credit scene. And
No.
just said, he's dead.
Yeah.
And Kevin Williamson even said, "I jumped the shark once. I'm not jumping it twice."
For sure. Okay, Ryan, what were you going to...
Maybe that was what happened. Maybe
Yeah,
that they said
maybe.
we're
It might
going to
have
bring
been.
Stu back alive, and he's like, "I'm not doing it then."
What were you going to say, Ryan?
I was just gonna say I don't really have a ton to add to this. I don't really care. Like, I mean, Kevin Williamson's great and all, but I think there needs to be some new blood in this, and that's all I have to say about that.
For the director and the writer, yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
did brought in fresh blood, and it did well for the other two Scream movies that were not done.
Do you think?
Wes
I have a
Craven
theory
also-
that they'll probably find someone new to direct it. They're obviously going to find someone new.
I mean, I doubt that they're going to bring back the Radio Silence, guys. After
They're
what
not
happened,
going to.
after they
they're
fired,
about to direct The Mummy. Okay,
yeah, they're going to direct The Mummy next, and I'm
and they start
excited for
shooting
Radio
in the
Night.
summer. They said.
And I can't wait for Radio or Not to. I know it's out right now, and I want to see that movie right now.
You know who I think is going to direct it? It's probably going to be someone like that. What's that director of that movie that just came out? Ultrasound or whatever.
I've never seen Ultrasound.
Undertone.
Undertone. That's probably going to
Undertone.
be the director of Scream 8.
Well,
Or when did they
he's already tapped to direct Paranormal Activity 8, so he's going to be a bit busy.
So I don't think
I mean,
because
that's
he's
not- you
directing
can
more of a
tell, like,
paranormal
like
stuff.
4
He's not
days,
gonna,
okay?
they're not going to get a guy who's directing a paranormal movie to direct a slasher of legacy films.
I mean, Radio Silence did. You know what movies they did before Scream? They did. They did Ready or Not, but you know before that they did nothing but the VHS movies.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. You're
They
right.
did nothing but the VHS movie. Then they did Ready or Not. and then Scream.
Is it really good? Is it really good to check out?
I would say first one's really good, which is that the one they directed. The second one's terrible. They get worse as they go on.
I will say, wait, wouldn't that have been funny if they hired Chris Stuckman to do the Scream movie? Because he directed Shelby Oaks. I mean, it didn't do as well, but
You know who I
would be
think
funny
they
if
would
they
get?
hired him. It'll be
It's
funny
either
if
the
they
director of
hired him.
Ultra director, or Hard Eyes.
Oh, I still got to check out Hard Eyes. I
The
still have
Hard
not
Eyes
seen
director.
or the director of Strange Darling.
He's doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Yeah, I forgot he is attached to that one.
It's going to probably be someone that's cheap, and it's someone that can get this made in 30 days.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And that's why Radio Silent was chosen, because they could make Scream in 30 days, and they could make it cheap. That's why they were chosen to direct Scream 5. And I think Kevin Williamson, there was mostly a legacy grab, which I think honestly because they're probably going to find a director that can direct cheap and that can direct it quick. And I think that's what we're probably going to find out in the coming days. Is probably because they're still planning to shoot this movie by the end of this year. So I would not be shocked if by summer we find out who the director of Scream 8 is going to be. And you're going to hate what I'm going to tell you, but it's probably going to be the same writers that wrote 5, 6, and 7.
Oh dear.
So it's probably going to be the same writing. It's just going to be with a different director helm. But yeah, that's just my take on the Scream situation. Matt.
Oh yeah. Hold on, give me a moment. Okay, so tell me what you thought about the Kevin Williamson not coming back to write and direct the new Scream 8 movie. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're happy about it, or you're you're disappointed and you're a fan of the Scream 7, which I don't know why. Let me know your thought in the comment section below.
But
anyway, on to the next topic of the.
Are we doing topic? Or are we doing what the fuck news?
No, we're not there yet. We're getting there. I know we're going a little bit of overtime right now, but what else? We're going to go next to this Max Landis departing from the G.I. Joe movie. So
wow. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was we did the last story last week, and this time it's like, well,
how ironic is
his
that?
pitch was really good, though. The
Dude,
thing is, his pitch was actually good.
To quote that one clip from South Park, and he's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Max Landis has passes the G.I. Joe treatment. Paramount doesn't seem to be happy about his treatment for G.I. Joe. Now when it comes to Danny McBride, Paramount Pictures and Hasbro are not moving forward with a take on a new G.I. Joe movie from screenwriter Max Landis. Multiple sources told Variety Landis, a son of Training Places director John Landis, was engaged by the studio and the toy maker earlier this year for a script treatment surrounding the iconic action figures. New film leadership at Paramount is prioritizing the relaunch of this IP in others, including Star Trek. Paramount passes on Landis' treatment for creative reasons. One source say the studio is still in talks with and awaiting scripts from the other writers, including the Righteous Gemstone star Danny McBride. Reach from Instagram, Landis told Variety he was tremendously grateful to have been given the opportunity. He elaborated that his pitch came together very serendipitously based on the coolness of the weird and subversive idea. That idea centered around the film franchise's villains, Cobra, having successfully taken over the world and reduced G.I. Joe to the conspiracy theory. But this is just how big IP development always is. Honestly, I was surprised it was reported at all. Paramount Pictures did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A rep up for Hasbro could not immediately be reached for a comment. News of Landis pitching on the project grabbed headlines as his career as cratered after allegations of sexual assault and after misconduct were brought against him in 2016 by 8 women. At the time, Landis was dropped from agency CAA and multiple development projects set up at studios were canceled. Call it one less man headache for David Ellison's media empire. The studio came on board as a distributor for a new Rush Hour movie from Hollywood Pharaoh Brett Ratner, himself accused of sexual harassment and assault in the Me Too movement last year, to say nothing of the ongoing drama with Paramount president Jeff Schill, currently under investigation for allegedly leaking privileged information to an outside party, once suing him for $150 million. So, Jake, I want to know what you thought about this, him being removed for this whole G.I. Joe treatment.
So, first off, I think the pitch would have been cool because it's like, okay, Cobra rules the world and everything. And I know they briefly touched upon that in Retaliation, which I loved. But I think, honestly, this would have been a much cooler idea. But the thing is also Max Landis, I think, yeah. One thing I think was because it's just they're trying to, if they weren't trying to buy Warner Brothers right now, and they're trying to get all this approval, because right now it paints a nasty picture of, is like, okay, they're trying to control the whole media, they're trying to control everything, and they're trying to hire all these people that we think are horrible. So do we really want to approve this merger so that way they can have more power, so they can basically keep abusers? That's essentially, then I guess that kind of scared David Ellison away, saying, look, I'm sure he told Matt, look, Max, right now we're trying to buy this company, so we don't need any controversy around us. Like, remember, I don't know if you've seen the Variety article, the Deadline article about how all the pictures of all the canceled actors and directors and all that stuff, like John Lasseter's on there and everything, is why does Paramount keep hiring canceled people? And I think that right there was probably like a gut punch to them. And I think that they're trying to get right now Warner Brothers. And I think because right now California is saying, oh, fuck no, we're not letting you have it. And then you have all these other people that are like, we're not letting you have it. So I think that right there is probably a reason why they told Max Landis, look, we can't take your pitch right now. Maybe in the future. And I wouldn't be shocked if they put this project on the back burner just until they get the merger complete. Because this could be, I think, if a script is good, they'll probably just put it on the back burner and say, look, we're just going to wait until we get Warner Bros. Then afterwards, we're going to make it. So, I mean, because at the end of the day, we haven't heard nothing from Max Landis, and I'm sure they probably told him to keep him quiet. I'm sure he got paid for the treatment too. So, yeah, but that's just my thoughts. I do think that, I don't think, honestly, if Danny McBride's pitch is better, I think they will go with it. But I don't think, honestly, this project's going to go anywhere, because at the end of the day, it's G.I. Joe, and is like the fan base. I mean, unless you got like a hell of a script, I just don't think. I mean, G.I. Joe, it's nostalgia, but like, does anyone really like still talk about G.I. Joe?
Yeah, since you already brought up, I brought up on the last week's episode that, yeah, G.I. Joe is not as much of a popular IP as they wanted it to be. I mean, it was great time in the 80s, but Transformers had a better IP. I mean, yeah, there were times where they're trying to do a crossover when they did Rise of the Beast, when they were trying to do that mid-credit scene and trying to do the crossover, and that didn't do well because the Rise of the Beast underperformed at the box office because people were starting to lose interest, and because that film felt very much of a Michael Bay, which pretty much he ran that fucking IP to the ground, and they were trying to get themselves back up again.
Which you're really going to hate who's directing Transformers 8.
Yeah, but it's not confirmed that he's directing.
He said he's got three scripts, but one of them is
he has 3 scripts are in development. It's not a lock and guarantee that he's going to actually that it's going to get made.
Do you know who wrote the script for Transformers 8? The writer of Mitchell versus the Machines.
Which I love that movie. I don't care. I know you don't like it, but I love that film. It's an underrated animated film.
I'm saying that's the writer of Transformers 8.
Yeah, but look, I wanted to get into the G.I. Joe franchise because I was never really into it back then. When it was around the time when G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra with Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans and Dennis Quaid were in that film.
Awesome.
At the time, I know a lot of people hated it, but at the time when I watched that film and when it came out, I actually had a guilty pleasure and I actually loved it. Yeah, looking back on it now, it's not that great. It doesn't hold up. And you had a director who directed the first 2 Mummy movies, and Brendan Fraser made a cameo in the first film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Cobra. I'm like, it had some promising, but it was not very well executed.
You had Benny from the Mummy, you had Himotep from the Mummy.
Yeah, playing the henchman in the movie.
The guy from the Mummy Returns in the Mummy.
And nobody was able to take Marlon Wayans seriously because he's done raunchy comedy spoof movies, and no one was able to take him seriously as an action star.
A goofball in the movie too, so it didn't help.
Well, yeah, he played more of the goofball, but he had a little bit more charismatic. But I feel like at the time when that movie came out, no one was able to take him seriously. Especially even that movie he did with Dungeons and Dragons with Jeremy fucking Irons. So that movie was a pile of shit, and that nearly destroyed it at the time when that movie came out. And look, I wanted to get into the G.I. Joe franchise, but I didn't think the first one held up. I was excited for the sequel of Retaliation.
I really liked the sequel, and I was not not looking forward to it at all.
I know, and that's fair. But for me personally, I hated
it. Felt like the note for Retaliation was make it more like Transformers. That's what it felt like, because if you look at the cinematography and all that, it matches a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, but here's the thing. For me, like, I wanted to really like it, and I was excited to see Channing Tatum come back to the role was co-starring with Dwayne Johnson to be one of the main leads because he's Dwayne Johnson, because he's a big action star. But when I watched the film, when I found out when they showed in the trailer that they killed him off so early on in the film, fans were very fucking pissed off that they killed off Duke's character, Channing Tatum, in the beginning of the movie when they get fucking ambushed.
And then they did. They delayed the movie a year.
They delayed the movie for a year, and they
did.
But that was not really a smart thing. It didn't do anything different because here's the thing:
it made them more money.
Yeah, it underperformed. It did not make a lot of money.
$300 million against a budget of like what was like 100.
No, it was over. It was way more than 100. It was over 100. It was like nearly 180. Like that did not make profitable. It did not make its return. But even anyway. They even said, "Oh yeah, we are gonna reshoot the scene and add more scenes with Channing Tatum in the movie." And you want to know what that was? Them playing fucking Xbox. That was the only thing that they changed. There
actually was a scene that was cut from the movie of them like bonding at the beginning.
Yeah, and then they have like, oh, okay, nobody cares about that. You don't kill off one of the major characters of G.I. Joe and then bring on Dwayne Johnson, which he tried to carry it, and then you have two.
Well, to be fair, Channing Tatum requested.
And also you had two new characters that nobody gave a fuck about. No one cared. No one cared about those new characters. They were fucking one note. Sure, you want to bring in Bruce Willis, the creator, or the one that started the G.I. Joe organization. That was cool and all, but it was just a generic action flick that nobody's going to remember. It was a bad film.
Well, to be fair, all right, so on three points I want to point out. One, it did make profit because it 122 is 122 at the it cost what's it called? It cost 122 to make. And then it made like 300.
No, it cost like nearly between 130 and 155 million. And it made 375 million worldwide.
Hold on, let me redo the math. Yeah, okay, all right, that math, then it underperformed then.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like it underperformed. It didn't. Otherwise, if that movie made over 400 million, then maybe they would have done the third one.
Well, they were going to do another one because they said they were going to make another one, but the director, they even had a director hired and writers. But then what happened was everything started falling apart when Dwayne Johnson didn't come back. Because Dwayne Johnson.
And then they made the spinoff of the Snake Eyes movie, which it was supposed to be the part of the reboot of the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover. And that movie flopped. And that movie fucking sucked, which I was excited for that movie. And that was the biggest letdown. And it nearly just, it's pretty much destroyed at this point. And and the only way that they can be able to recover it's like you need to wait years and years for it to die down for it to bring back a franchise like this, and hopefully that audience could be on board. But for Ryan, I want to get your take on what you thought about with Max Landis' departure.
I had a feeling this was going to be coming. Paramount's in a tricky spot because it's like they missed out, or like they're doing the Warner Brothers thing, so they got to take this on, but then they got to figure out what they're doing with their own IPs because Star Trek is more relevant now than ever. Like that whole thing is like the do-si-do of Quentin Tarantino's going to direct it. No, he's not. And it's like that whole thing. There's Star Trek stuff out there, but no one talks about it except for the grifters and that whole lot.
And Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, Robert Meyer Burnett is like legit.
Well, we're not
I'm not saying I'm saying like he talks about they got the only people talk about either grifters or Robert Meyer Burnett because Robert Meyer will talk Star Trek any day of the week.
I know, and here's the thing: we love and respect Robert Meyer Burnett.
If I texted him right now and said, "Hey, tell me about Star Trek. What does this mean?" and he would respond back immediately with like a 15 pages of Star Trek information about.
Hey, and we may not agree with this points, but hey, we respect him. Hey, like he's a very passionate fan. We don't want to shit on him for that. We love Robert.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I would never say that. I'm saying, but you're misunderstanding.
We're just trying to clear the confusion.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm saying he loves Star Trek so much that he would talk about Star Trek because he actually is a fan. He actually is a diehard Star Trek fan. I think he is like the only person on Earth I know that can actually tell you if you ever have any plot issues or something with Star Trek and like explain this in Star Trek 2. He would absolutely know the answer to that. And I think that's what's great about him. Actually, he is a Star Trek fan that loves Star Trek. And I said, there's like two groups of people on there. There's people like Robert Meyer Burnett that love Star Trek that absolutely are Star Trek fans. And then you have the grifters over here who are like, I don't like anything Star Trek that's modern. I don't like Star Trek I don't like Star Trek because it has black people and gay people in it. And I'm like, did you watch?
The grifters would say, "Oh, it's woke. It's too woke."
I'm like, have you seen any Star Trek in the last 20 years and the last since the beginning it started?
Also, did you know that Robert Meyer Burnett tried to make his own Star Trek fan film years ago and it didn't get off the ground?
Yeah. The point I was trying to get at is that Paramount needs to get their shit together. They like Morty once advised. They need to go to the bag store, get a bag, put all their shit into the bag. They need to get it all together. And right now they're not doing that. So
instead they're too busy fucking with Warner Brothers, trying to get Warner Brothers.
And also, they don't have as many slate coming out this year for Paramount.
Do you know what the next movie coming out after Scream 7 is? Do you know the next movie?
Jackass number 5.
No. That's July. Do you know what comes out before Jackass number 5? Scary Movie 6.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's coming out in June. I forgot. Yeah.
They don't have a movie coming out in April,
I will say,
or May.
I have faith in Scary Movie 6. It's going to be very popular. The more people are going to go out and see Scary Movie 6. There are many people that online that I talked to was like, oh, they're going to cancel it. No, the numbers have been very high and popular after the trailer dropped. The hype is there. More people are going to go out and see it. And you could try canceling it, but you're going to fail. Good luck with that.
Piggyback on Ryan, what Ryan saying. Ryan, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm going to correct you on one point. They do have a writer and director. The guys who made the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, John Francis Daly and what's his name? They're writing and directing the new Star Trek movie. So they got new director. Now, if they stay on it, that's the thing. Because John Francis Daly were supposed to direct the Flash movie. They were supposed to direct like a lot of movies, and so they're known to jump on projects and like just leave after if they owe. So if who knows, this might work out for them. And also like Ninja Turtles, Neil H. Mortez is producing a Ninja Turtles movie, but he's not touching it until after.
They're still trying to get locked in for Mutant Mayhem 2 sequel. That it's still, there is a chance it won't even go to theaters. Yeah, it might not happen. You might be right about that. And
because they pushed that Avatar movie.
What about the last Ronin movie that got canceled? But they're trying to rework this whole. The whole last Ronin movie and because originally it was supposed to be more of a direct sequel for the OG Ninja Turtles movie.
They robbed us.
With the exception of Jackass, arguably, Paramount, like all their IP are about as hot as the Antarctic. So they need to
announce Top Gun 3. They need to announce Top Gun 3.
Well, they can't do that. No, they're not going to announce it without Tom Cruise's fucking consent because he's the one who's deciding if they should do a Top Gun 3 or not. If I'm going to make a third one, we need to make sure it's fucking good and make sure the script is good and done well and done right. And he
You want to hear
fought,
the good news?
even before the Ellisons took over Paramount, he fought the studio to keep it in theaters and not in the fucking streaming platform.
They're circling right now a big name to get. They're trying to do World War Z again.
Well, yeah, you know how long that movie came
But
out?
like they're actually
ago?
David Ellison's like hell bent on getting a World War Z out in the next 3 years, and they're.
I was in high school when World War Z came out.
So was I.
This came out the same year as Man of Steel, for fuck's sake. This is like 13 years ago, and they're waited that long.
But here's the thing, though: the new World War Z that they're trying to make will be a reboot of the Brad Pitt film, so it won't be connected to it.
That would make sense.
It would be It would be closer to the book, and they're trying to court a big name director to write and direct it. And apparently. If it all goes through, maybe by the end of this year they'll have a director attached to World War Z. That's the hellbent. They're hellbent on getting it because they said, I don't think it's gonna be David Fincher though. I don't think
if they're rebooting it, then I'm totally okay with it. I personally don't care for a sequel because I didn't like the first one as much. I thought it was a forgettable movie.
I think it's going to be like
but I will admit it was successful, and I'll give them credit to that. But the thing is, you took way too long to do another sequel when you should have done it years ago. I never understood the logic of them taking that long.
It was because the Ellisons didn't run Paramount. That's why.
But that's true. But if it was successful, you just don't fucking wait nearly a decade to do another sequel.
Especially when it was at the prime of The Walking Dead. That right there, because you could have made a great.
Or maybe around the time when maybe you could have made around the time when the last. Well, actually, right now it could have been the best time with The Last of Us. Another sort of zombie adjacent show.
My only hope is that because 28 years later is not doing hot, that they might say, "Oh well, there's not the." But I think Ellison's really hell bent on getting World War Z made because they lose the rights in a couple of years. So they have to go back and
they better get that. They better get that going before they lose the rights.
Max Brooks. So because they only have it for I think 10 or 15 years, and that time is almost up.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So anyway. No, go on for one more.
But I think for G.I. Joe, Max, I think honestly they probably dodged a bullet because at the end of the day, there's only like two movies, like one good movie. I mean, I like Bright and but what is he made like that?
Well, no, especially David. You mean David Ayer, not Fincher?
No, I'm saying David Ayer. I mean, like he's made. I'm saying like David. But Max Landis, he's only made like two movies that people remember.
Chronicle. He did Chronicle. I will say that was his best film he's written in that film. Bright was okay. Bright was okay, but it wasn't that good. I didn't like Bright that much.
I thought it was a decent film. It's something you can watch.
It had something going. There's things to like about it, but I just think it just kind of dropped the ball for me for a little bit. It could have been better.
I want to go to WDF headlines now.
Okay, well, we'll cut. Well, I was going to go for one last thing, but I know you want to get to the W2F, so we'll get to that one. So, anyway, what did you think about this whole Max Landis departing for the G.I. Joe movie? Are you satisfied that it's not going to happen, and that you would much rather prefer Danny McBride to be able to take the pitch of the script? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Okay. Now, hold on. For the WTF news, I'm trying to see which one we're going to cover first. For the WTF,
let's do the funniest one. Which one are there's three, right? Or is there how many?
God, I'm trying to see.
We don't have to do the Jamie Lee Curtis one.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. It's not necessary. We'll talk about what about the Tarantino one?
That one, which one's all right, there's three, right?
Oh, what about Rebel Wilson that you told me?
That one I want to talk about first. That one's a fucking crazy
we'll talk about. Okay. I mean, I'm not big on WTF news. I know Jake loves that shit a lot.
I love it because it's so fucking crazy. Especially this one. Even Campia talked about it this week. It's how crazy this is.
Okay. So the Rebel Wilson suffers blow in legal fight with the Depp producer as Judge Guts stars lawsuit. I mean, I don't know the whole situation, so take that with a giant grain of salt. Rebel Wilson has dealt with a major blow in her sprawling legal battle with the British producer behind the Depp, her directorial debut. LA Superior Court Judge Thomas Long tossed the majority of Wilson's claims against Amanda Gose, Gregor Cameron, and Vince Holden during a hearing this week. Wilson alleged that Gose sexually harassed actress Charlotte McInnes. I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. I fully apologize. And later colluded with the Depp star to cover up what took place. Wilson also accuses Gose, Cameron, and Holden of intimidation, embezzling embezzling of funds from the movie. Wow, fuck, that's crazy. Judge Long's decision means Wilson can no longer pursue some of the more serious allegations in her lawsuit, including claims that Ghost grooms young women and stole credit for James Blunt's song "You're Beautiful." The judge declared Wilson's claims immaterial and abusive. Okay, on to the next. Wilson will also be denied the opportunity to amend her case, meaning her lawsuit has been narrowed to fair dealing claims against AI film run by Ghost. The Pitch Perfect star will also be able to pursue allegations that producers caused her emotional distress. Judge Long has also granted Ghost permission to conduct limited discovery in relation to her defamation lawsuit regarding a so-called smear website that made incendiary allegation about the producer being the Indian Ghislaine Maxwell.
That right there is the crazy part. Well, I'm like, oh my god, really?
Yeah. I don't know anything about this whole story. This is fucking shocking to me. Ghost and her colleagues amended their original July 2024 defamation complaint that against Wilson to accuse her of commencing the website, which they said contained malevolent and racist lies. Wilson has unequivocally denied any role in conceiving, planning, registering, directing, creating, writing, or posting the content of the website. What did you think about this whole news, Jake?
First off, this right here is why a lot of people question the Me Too movement, because shit like this is crazy. Especially you have Rebel Wilson, who literally went like, okay, so her basically what happened is her and the person, this producer, were making an independent film together. And the producer was like, hey, look, we don't have enough money or something. And literally, like, well, and I guess she wanted the producer to go find more funds. The producer's like, I don't know where to go get this movie funds. So I guess, Wilson had to go find the funds somewhere else or whatever. And then she tried to accuse, like, the producer of embezzlement and everything else. And then, like, she even sued her and said, and then I guess that, like, her claims were baseless because they're like, no, the money's all here. And then so she then tried to get the actress to say, the star of the movie, to say, oh, she say she sexually assaulted you. And then she's like, but she didn't sexually assault me. And the actress was like, no, he never was sexually assaulted. And everyone was, that's not what I heard. And then it became, and then so then to basically make things worse, she went to a PR agency to see if they will do like a smear campaign against the producer by saying that she is a sex trafficker. And that she basically traffics underage girls like Ghislaine Maxwell style. And basically, and then create websites of, and then hire actresses to say, like, she assaulted me. She assaulted me.
Basically, what you're saying, that they're trying to make up lies of this whole Me Too movement.
They're trying to, exactly. And that right there, which John Cameron talked about earlier, and he said that's horrible. That Rebel Wilson, they actually, the reason why all this blew up, because TMZ got a hold of Rebel Wilson talking to a PR agency about this, and I'm saying that we can make her like look like we can make it where she'll get like even arrested if you want us to.
That's outrageous.
And that's like, that is horrible. Like, that is absolutely horrible. Especially Rebel Wilson. You are now a successful actor. Like, you're no longer known as Fat Amy. You actually branched out and made a career of yourself. And you're making this movie, an independent movie that most people would kill to make. And you got it financed and everything, and you're mad at the producer. And this is, by the way, this has happened. A similar story about this has happened before. You know, like there's a reason why John McTiernan, the director of Die Hard, went to prison, because he did something similar to Charles Roven.
Damn.
John McTiernan went to prison because he did something similar. But what had happened was, though, I'll talk about that in a second, but Rebel Wilson, though, she basically went to an agency to try to smear and say, oh, she's a pedophile and she's a sex trafficker and all this stuff. This poor woman who probably, if this would have leaked out, can you imagine? Like, this woman's life would have been like, we would have read this and said, oh my God, that producer, I can't believe she did all this stuff. not knowing that this is all lies, and her being like, I've never in my life did this. I've never in my life. And that is so horrible that you're that petty. You're going to go to a PRC. That's like, you're going to ruin this lady's life for the rest of her life. And she's got to go to court and everything else. All for lies that are not even true, just because you're trying to get up at her because she didn't do essentially a favor for you because, that to me that makes me really hate Hollywood for that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ryan? I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, do you got anything to add?
This is a wild story. I mean, this is the first I've heard of it, so I don't know everything, but yeah.
Well,
people who say that, oh, it was clearly a witch hunt. I'm like, well, seems that way nowadays, huh?
And the fact is, though, she lost her claim because she tried to sue her in court by saying, oh, she's this and that and everything. And the judge says, none of this is true. And even the actors that said, they brought the actress, the star of that movie in, and she says, no, I was never sexually assaulted by this lady. She said, well, that's not what she told me. And I'm just like, so it feels like they answer.
He said, she said, or well, in this case,
yeah.
She said, she said.
And it feels more like, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not trying to bring the Johnny Depp trial up, but it feels like she's Amber Hearding herself up.
Wait, you mean Rebel Wilson as she's pulling that whole thing? Yeah, that's completely ludicrous.
Yeah, like 5 words. Like, what have you done for? Oh, like,
what have you?
She's essentially pulling this whole bullshit Me Too movement, and she's getting the major blowback for this.
It's like, hey, Amber Heard, what have you done for me lately? Well, we're on that lady is on that track.
And this is something similar happened with back in 2002 or 3 or whatever. So they were remaking a movie called Rollerball. John McTiernan was, and basically Charles Robin kept stripping the budget or something because he says this movie was gonna flop or whatever. And they kept rewriting the script, and it was a terrible movie. And so John McTiernan thought they were trying to sabotage his directing this movie. So John McTiernan had a private investigator bug his house, Charles Robin's house, put tabs on him and everything, and spy on him to see if he's plotting against and collect all of his information and all this stuff, just so that way he can't use it against him in the future. And apparently this guy got busted, and then he rolled over on John McTiernan and all of his clients. And John McTiernan was one of them, and John McTiernan had to go to jail for it. And I think this is a similar situation where basically she went to a private firm, she got caught with her pants down. So now she's basically going to have to face repercussion. If this lady might sue her, if I was the producer, I would sue her ass for this, saying that you were trying to literally get somebody to lie and say I was sexually abusing him. I would sue her for emotional distress. I would sue her for false allegations. I would sue her for, I would sue Rebel Wilson's ass to where she ends up having to go do Pitch Perfect 12, just to make a buck. Well, I'm sure if she got sued and lost, I'm sure Rebel Wilson wouldn't work in Hollywood again. I'm sure she'd be back in Australia going, welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, she's probably on the verge of not going to be able to work anything ever again. Because here's the thing: what was the last movie? What was the last movie she ever did in?
Bride Hard. Remember Bride Hard? That when it came on Disney and Hulu. Bride Hard.
Oh, that one. I never watched that movie.
She's doing commercials now.
Yeah, she's just mostly doing fucking commercials.
She wrote a book 2 years ago on Sacha Baron Cohen saying he told her he wanted her to be nude in the love scene for the Brothers Grimsby. And he wanted her to stick her finger up his ass. And then which Sacha Baron Cohen denied, say, I never, ever did that. I never asked her to do any of that. And then the director of the movie, Louis Ludier, and all the staff, all of the production people have said, no, that's not true. That Rebel Wilson never even, he said, in fact, Sacha Baron Cohen was on the phone most of the time with his agency. He says when he wasn't shooting, or, and he said it was never, ever, he never, ever spoke with her unless they were shooting a scene, because he said Rebel Wilson kind of got mad because she was trying to talk with him, which someone even said she was trying to talk with him one time and he was on the phone, and then he told her, he kind of barked at her and said, go away. I think that's when I think she probably got mad about that, which she had to retract that statement, by the way, in the book.
This is why I never trust the whole Me Too movement, because you don't know what the fuck that is going on with their agenda in Hollywood today. This is why Hollywood's always been a fucking mess since the beginning of time. They've always done some dirty, shady shit.
I mean, there are some things like the Harvey Weinsteins of the world and the Bill Cosby's of the world.
There are some of them that are very much true.
But then you have sometimes,
to quote now disgraced wise philosopher Bill Burr, I think we got them all.
Yeah. But I mean,
I will agree with you. There are some allegations that are really true.
Too. Like, I don't think most people nowadays, I don't think they're trying to like get canceled and fired, because this is an expensive industry to work in. Why would you want to jeopardize that by being like there's like a comedian that one time that, which we won't talk about that, but like there are people out there that like, ask a girl out. Nowadays, there are people afraid to ask women out because that a guy asked her out for coffee and she reported him.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When you're becoming a big star in Hollywood, there's a chance that your life's going to turn your world upside down and it's going to get fucked over very badly and you're going to crash and burn. But if you ask some woman out or a man or whatever that is that you're into, if something happens, if you try to reject them and they'll just use anything against you, and there's a chance that your ass are going to get fucking canned. And now look, there are some allegations that are fair, that there's some of them that do end up being true. Of course, I'm all about innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but a lot of times they say, well, innocent. And he said guilty. What if there's no trial? So that's what people are like. Well, they didn't do criminal actions, so why shouldn't they be punished?
It's a tricky line. It's a tricky tightrope to walk. You gotta acknowledge that they've got taken care of the Weinsteins and the Roman Polanskis and the Woody Allens to a certain extent, but then you got to recognize others are just like either overly accentuated or just complete nonsense.
Yeah, I do think there are some people that got like Aziz Ansari, Chris Hardwick, and of course, there are some people out there that got drug into this even though they didn't do nothing wrong. I feel like Aziz Ansari went on a date with a woman, and the woman basically like he had sex with her, and she said, oh, I didn't really want to. I had sex with him, but it was because he was famous, but I really didn't want to have. After I had sex with him, I felt like I didn't want to have sex with him afterwards. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you sleep with someone, you can't change after they're done. When you're done with it, you can't say, okay, I don't consent anymore. I'm like, you just had when he's literally out of the bed eating a sandwich, you can't really change the well, now this is no longer, because I mean, it'd be different if you're in the act, and then he said I don't want to do it anymore, and then he says okay, I'm sorry, and then pulls out, and that's it. That's different than if okay, you already slept with him, and then you're basically saying now I was consenting, now I don't consent anymore. I'm like, that cannot happen, because that is not how that works. It'd be different if he actually raped you or did something like that. That's understandable. But just like Chris Hardwick, where that one lady that his ex-girlfriend accused him of being an abusive boyfriend. And then it turns out they suspended Chris Hardwick from AMC for a while, and then they did an investigation to where every single one of his girlfriends has said he never did anything wrong. And they're like, he's never did anything wrong. And then, of course, they reinstated him after they did 2 separate investigations on Chris Hardwick, and they said nothing. It came out nothing. They felt like the actor's just lying to get attention. Look, Andy Signore, look, he got, and I think he kind of got dirty. I think honestly he's a piece of shit, absolutely, for cheating on his wife, but I don't think he deserved to be canceled. Where's he? Because I said I saw all the evidence, and it looked like he really just was cheating on his wife, and the girl got mad and then just said, I'm going to ruin your life. And I think honestly that right there, I felt like he shouldn't have been fired for that. But at the same time, he got his ass, which I do think, he should have his wife should have left him because you cheated on her. But I don't think you should have lost your entire career, your livelihood, and all that stuff because of something horrible of an allegation. It was one lady. One lady said this, and they were fighting it. But then he said this happened before Me Too, and then what happened was Me Too happened that day, and then the studio just said, we don't want to get caught up in this. We're just going to fire you. And then he sued them, and he won. And now that's where all his money is. He sued them, and then he started his own channel after he sued them, and won. And so I think sometimes it's a slippery slope, and I'm not saying I do think you should believe women, absolutely, but I also think there should be an investigation. Like Alison Brie, or not Alison Brie, is it Dave Franco's wife?
Yeah.
That's Alison Brie.
Yeah,
Yes.
said that she said, well, they asked her, why don't I have, he said, how come you don't discourage James Franco? He said, because he says we are doing an investigation and we're not going to throw somebody to the curb until we know all the facts and evidence is there. That's how you deal with it.
Be like Alison Brie. You know, it's like the old saying goes, trust but verify.
Yeah. Do your investigation. Don't just sit there and say, don't cut ties with somebody just because you of like an allegation. Wait until you hear their whole story. Don't just say they're like a part of it or somebody else's part.
Yeah, again, innocent until proven guilty. That's what it should be. Start doing from the start. Don't just start fucking blacklist them just because one allegation and suddenly, no, we're going to throw them out. It's too much of a baggage, too much of a problem. We're not going to investigate. We don't care if it destroys them. But we're just going to nope, we're not going to deal with it.
What's the next story?
Okay. Anyway, what did you think of this whole Rebel Wilson story of getting the big blowback for her? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So, okay, this is going to be the one last segment because I know we went on a little too long. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. So I wanted to get into the Memoriam, the whole memorial, that one thing we just lost recently, and it's Chuck Norris. I feel like it would be a fair way to end this one is Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris is sad. I really love Chuck Norris, and it's sad that we lost the Walker Texas Ranger.
He died at the age of 86. Chuck Norris, the martial arts champion who became an iconic action star and led the hit series Walker Texas Ranger, has died. He was 86. Norris was hospitalized in Hawaii on Thursday, and his family posted a statement Friday saying that he died that morning. While we would like to keep the circumstances private, please know that he was surrounded by his family and was at peace, his family wrote. To the world, he was a martial artist, actor, and a symbol of strength. To us, he was devoted husband, a loving father and grandfather, an incredible brother, and the heart of our family. The statement continued. He lived his life with faith, purpose, and unwavering commitment to the people he loved. Through his work, discipline, and kindness, he inspired millions around the world and left a lasting impact on so many lives. As an action star, Norris had a degree of credibility that most others could not match. Not only did he appear opposite the legendary Bruce Lee in 1972, The Way of the Dragon, aka Return of the Dragon, but he was a genuine martial arts champion who was a black belt in judo, third-degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, fifth-degree black belt in karate, eighth-degree black belt in a taekwondo, 9th degree black belt in Tang So Do, and 10th degree black belt in a Chung Kuk Do. Wow, that's a lot of that.
I love you saying all the names. I'm
trying to say all the names, but I tried my best.
It's so funny. You're just saying it all wrong, but I'm like, yeah,
I know. I'm saying it all wrong because I'm fucking terrible with pronouncing this. Chuck Norris was extremely prolific in the late 1970s and 80s, starring in the Delta Force and missing in action films. Good Guys Wear Black, The Octagon, Lone Wolf McQuade, Code of Silence, and Firewalker. Norris joined a bevy of other action stars in the Sylvester Stallone directed The Expendables 2 in 2012 after an absence from the screen of 7 years. While he scored high on credibility, Norris did not leaving in his work with humor the way Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Jackie Chan did. He was nevertheless the action star of choice for those seeking an all-American icon. In 1984, Norris starred in Missing in Action, the first in the series of films centered around the rescue of American POWs purportedly still held after being captured during the Vietnam War. Norris's younger brother, Willen, had been killed while serving in the Vietnam, and the actor dedicated his Missing in Action films to his brother's memory. But critics of Norris and producer Canon Films maintain that the film borrowed too heavily from the central conceit of Stallone's highly successful Rambo films. So anyway, how did you feel about this whole passing of Chuck Norris, Jake?
It's just
go
sad stuff. One of my favorite action movies is actually Lone Wolf McQuade. It is such a blast to watch. He has a superpowered truck. Keith. He kicks one of the Carradines, Keith Carradine's ass in the Mexican desert. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not like a big fan of his filmography. I mean, there is, I think, the one film I always went to as a kid was Top Dog. That was a movie where Chuck Norris has a dog as a sidekick, and I always thought that was a great. Cause, I mean, the action's really crazy. There's a scene where the clowns, people in clown costumes, just attack Chuck Norris's house, and Chuck Norris. I'm like, and it was like a movie with a guy and a dog. You think it's a comedy? It's not. It's actually more of like it's a Chuck Norris movie with a dog. And and I think about that, and I was looking it up today. I'm probably going to watch it later because I mean Chuck Norris. Yeah, I mean, most people are going to remember him as the Walker, Texas Ranger. I mean, that is a show I've seen millions of times. I love that show. It is absolutely great because Chuck Norris is just like one of those guys who just go and beat your ass. And I remember there's a funny Conan O'Brien clip that I urge everyone to go search out, where Conan O'Brien gets the when he gets on NBC, he goes, "Oh, we're going to be able to show you clips of Walker, Texas Ranger without Chuck Norris's permission." Chuck Norris like, "I don't think so, Buster." And then he basically kicked Conan O'Brien's ass. Like when he's about to play a Chuck Walker, Texas Ranger clip, he goes up there and he goes, "Pow!" And he's like, "Ah!" And like slow motion, like it does in Walker, Texas Ranger, he shoots. And I think that's like something amazing about it. And my brother's a big Chuck Norris meme guy. Like my brother likes to say, like, it took God 7 days to create the earth, but it only took God 7 seconds to create Chuck Norris. Or he says Chuck Norris is bitten by a snake, and after 3 days of agonizing pain, the snake died. Or he says,
he poked fun at that line in The Expendables too.
Yeah, they do. And also, this man had, since he still was till he died, doing infomercials.
Yeah,
like at 5 a.m. infomercials, you'd see.
I remember those infomercials.
And Chuck Norris being like, "Hi, I'm Chuck Norris. I was in The Expandables too, and I was in better shape than all those guys in there." And I'm just like,
I remember that. I mean, I never really followed his filmography. I never watched any of his movies, to be honest with you. I've seen some clips of YouTube of him like going stand off against Bruce Lee, which that was probably one of the most iconic thing that he's done in his career, is to go toe to toe with Bruce Wayne in that martial arts movie. It did say that in the later years, he did appear in infomercials workout. That's why we brought it up. But then he became increasingly outspoken as a political conservative. He was very Christian. A lot of people don't like him because of his beliefs and shit. So yeah, but they still love his work. They still love his work.
To tell him.
And he definitely set the stage of being an action star before Schwarzenegger or Stallone came in the picture.
I would have dared somebody to say it to his face. I would have, before he died, I would have guaranteed nobody says nothing to Chuck Norris because they're like, "It's fucking Chuck Norris. You're really going to say that to him?" Like, I don't care who you are. You go up to him and criticize him on his career. I guarantee you that will fucking fuck you up. Like, literally. Yeah. I remember on 2016 when Suicide Squad was coming out. And the guy who played, it was in the Indian guy who plays Slipknot in the movie, Adam something. He was in the Walker, Texas Ranger as Chuck Norris's sidekick after the guy from Die Hard left the show. And basically, they asked him. He said, "Is Chuck Norris really a badass?" Jimmy Kimmel asked me. He goes, "He did, dude. He would kick your ass." And he's like, "Why would he kick my ass? I didn't do nothing to him." It's like. Because Chuck Norris he actually is like he has all these belts and everything. He actually can kick your ass. And I'm sure to this day, and the one thing I think that the one thing we can go out on is say, he said no one was able to kill Chuck Norris but Chuck Norris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It wasn't like he died from like a gunshot. Like, no, Chuck Norris killed Chuck Norris. Which, I said, like, I mean, which he said, honestly, I really think I'm going to miss him because, I mean, first off, Chuck Norris has still one of the greatest cameos of all time in a movie called Dodgeball.
I love that cameo.
They're doing a thumbs up, and then he says Chuck Norris does his thumb. He goes, and Vince Vaughn goes, "Thank you, Chuck Norris."
I mean, here's the thing. I know he's iconic and all. I mean, I never grew up watching like Chuck Norris's movies. I was never like the biggest Chuck Norris guy out there. I like some of his appearance in other movies and stuff. But I was not like not the hardcore and fan in the world, but I did enjoy his fight with Bruce Lee on you when I watched the clips of his movies on YouTube of him fighting Bruce Lee. That was probably awesome to watch.
Personally, I honestly just think it really sad, and I know some people like, so what if he's concerned with his political beliefs? And I honestly, it's Chuck Norris, okay? I mean, honestly,
I mean, like you can criticize his beliefs all you want, even though I don't agree with his political views, but he was the guy who set the stage of it being an action star. Like he was the one that started.
he wasn't a movie star. Like there's a lot of actors and stuff that's like Bruce Willis, and you got your like Will Smiths, and you got
but this was way before that. This was way before that.
He was an actual action, like he wasn't a guy who could actually jump out of a building and land on a dump truck and actually walk it off. Unlike people are like, oh, like like they have a stunt man or something. And I think honestly,
the only ones that do this own stunts like Bruce Lee. You had Bruce Lee. You had like Chuck Norris. You had like Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan that do their own stunt work.
I'm really gonna miss him because I felt like it was shitty the way they did him on Walker Texas Ranger reboot. Like they just made news. They didn't even acknowledge him as his existence on. And I feel like that dude is a legacy. And I mean, he was a good sport about it because he could have went up there to Jared Padalecki and goes, Buster, watch your ass.
I could have sworn that he had he talked to Chuck Norris about the permission to do this show.
Yeah. I mean, would you not? I mean, I would not. I would not want to.
Well, you kind of had to because if you want to respect that shit because he's the one who was the star of that show that became a hit. You damn well you go to fucking Chuck Norris and have permission that it's okay to do the show.
I'm Walker Texas Ranger, son.
I mean, I've never even seen that show. I didn't even see the reboot.
I will say the original is much better. The reboot, it's just a generic.
But don't you think that it was just for its time? Because I've seen the bits and pieces. Like, yeah, it was kind of a show for its time.
There's some fight scenes that are slow motion that do kind of like age not poorly, where it's like where he's like, you see the one guy's like, oh, shh. And I'm just like, oh god. Like, was that
from the new one?
No, from the old one.
Oh yeah.
He's fighting a guy and a guy he can't because Chuck Norris will fuck the guy up. So he's got he hits him, but it makes it the camera speeds up or slow motion to make it seem like he's kicking him harder than he is because Chuck Norris would have killed the guy. So stuff like that is where I'm like, okay.
But you gotta understand it because he's playing a fictional character that is more of a Texas Ranger and not a martial artist.
But I will admit, Chuck Norris, I'm gonna miss him, and that's all I had to say about him.
I mean, Ryan, what did you think? I mean, I don't know if you had your opinion on this.
I mean, it sucks that he's no longer with us. Like, he was great.
Okay. But anyway, it's very sad that he's gone. I mean, he made a name for himself in his career. How did you guys feel about the passing of Chuck Norris? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now that will be our last segment for the day. We're gonna get into the comments and see what we've got here. We got from Stephanie that did it earlier than when we were talking about the Oscars. Yeah, what up? Sentimental value was a snooze fest. Well, I can't say because I have never seen the movie, so I'm gonna have to see for myself to see if I feel.
I believe she's right. She is 100% right.
So you agree with her opinion on this?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She said this. Train Dreams was very beautiful. Totally was not expecting to enjoy it. I thought that was going to be a snooze. Yeah, I believe she brought that up before when we did. I can't remember what other watch party we did, but she did brought it up that Train Dreams could be a snooze fest before watching the movie, but she was satisfied with it. I totally agree with you. Train Dreams was definitely a beautiful but of emotional, sad film, and Joel Edgerton was amazing in the movie. I mean, Felicity Jones that plays the wife, she's in the movie. She was great, but don't expect much of her in the movie. Okay, we got Epitastic Joshua. What up, man? Thank you for joining us on that live. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. Okay, Stephanie comments, I prefer Jimmy over Conan hosting. I totally agree with you.
I agree.
Look, he has his moments. I love Conan. He's fucking hilarious. But I think Jimmy Kimmel.
He's my favorite late night talk show host of Conan. But I feel like like that the opening segment that's a Conan bit. Okay, that's not really a Oscar bit. Yeah. But I liked it though. I did like it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, like Kimmel at least knows how to continue. I think honestly, if you would have had someone like Conan do the opening Oscar, and then Kimmel do the rest of the show, I think that would work better because Kimmel can actually carry the whole show, unlike Conan, who he gets the opening monologue and then he basically does Like, and then of course he can't really. It's like, okay, I'm just a host then at that point. I'm like,
Yeah. Like, I think the first time he did was better, but then the second time it was very mid the way
he will not be
handled it.
asked back a third time. Let's just say that.
We can all agree on that one. Anyway, that's our last of this whole episode. We went a little bit over time than we did, but I thought it was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. This is my first time hosting, and I think because the last time we did was nearly like 2.5 hours, but it went on a little bit longer than I expected. But yeah. Oh, wait, where was that another comment? Did I miss that?
Yeah, you missed these 2 comments from. The Westboro was great, but Jessie was fantastic for the Oscar Best Actress. And
well, I can't say because I have not watched that film. So Epitaxic Joshua said I've heard good things about Hammond. Yeah, if you have not watched Hammond, you got to watch it. It's an incredible film. It's a full tearjerker, I will say. So is that the last one?
Yeah, that is the last comment.
All right. Yeah, that will be it for today. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm really getting the hang of this hosting, and it seems like we did a little bit of improvement than the last week because we had some technical problems last week. But I feel like this is a much faster.
To be fair, we were late this week. We were like 20 minutes late.
Yeah, we were a little 20 minutes late. I apologize.
You're late, man. Always late.
I knew you were going to do that, you jackass. I knew you were going to fucking steal it. But anyway, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. So, Jake, you go first. Where do people can find you, and what are you up to?
They can find me at 3D Movie Cinema, where I will be. I just dropped my review for Scream 5, and I'm officially done with the Scream series. So I don't know what my next series. I'm probably going to cover Smarty Supreme, or One Battle After Another. I think I already covered One Battle After Another. I think I might be covering then Hamnet or something, one of the Oscar picks. But yeah, that's what's coming up. Yeah, and then of course, Talking Gotham every Tuesday, and then of course Small Zero every week. So yeah, that's where you can find me at 3D Movie Cinema. My link is going to be in the description below.
Yep, go follow them there. And Ryan, what about you?
So 1996 project episode dropped yesterday. I only had one movie. It was Executive Decision. Later on this week, I'm going to be reviewing The Color Purple for the Spielberg project.
That's a great film. That is a great.
Never seen it, so I'm going in totally blind. I've seen the 2023 one, which I liked, but the Spielberg one I've never seen, and I'm hearing.
Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg are so good in that movie, and so is Oprah. Oprah, if you didn't think she could act, that movie shows you she can act in that movie. Oprah, that is probably her. Well, I think that's her only movie, but that's like Oprah Winfrey is so good in that movie.
And then they got Talking Gotham, and I've got one mini-series I'm planning for the month of April involving a certain thing that comes out of Egypt, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, go follow these two guys. They're awesome. I had a great time hosting for the first time and geeking out with them. This is a better improvement of the second episode of The Small Zero. So if you want to find my personal YouTube channel, it's at Matt Wyatt 92. I put up my both trailer reactions to Spider-Man Brand New Day and Dune Part 3, the one that we covered earlier. If you want to see my reaction for the first time, definitely check that out. I also got an upcoming review for Project Hail Mary. I will do my full non-spoiler review. I got to edit the video, and it'll be up on my channel very soon. So keep an eye open. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you know when the live stream comes up. I will be adding more clips for the segments that we've covered if you want to see the shorter version, the edited version. But I had a great time doing this. I can't wait for next week. So tell us what you thought about all the news that we covered in the comments. And anyway, thank you. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from. And make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode of Small Zero.
Sharpton for president, y'all. I'm outie.
Jesse Jackson for VP.